Hello and welcome everyone to episode 4 of the smobcast. So last 3 weeks we've gone over like a bunch of different servants from different summers. We ran out of summers though, so instead we've got a friend of us here, Rio Emerald. Say hello.
Hello. It's I, the one.
It's
Who
him.
talks about Lost Felt 6.
Yeah.
The cunning.
Oh.
No.
Oh no.
It's too soon for that, plushie.
Yeah. Yeah, the C-word commander. See, we here, like, I have to keep this track record of not saying that word, so
But can I say it?
I mean, I don't think YouTube flags it as a bad word.
It
Like,
doesn't actually. Trust me, I would know.
Damn.
yeah, like, I mean, it's not a normal curse word, I guess, but the crab commander.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the crab commander.
yeah, the collateral commander.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna be going over today. So, in the very least, I told them, I actually didn't check with them later, that we were gonna be just going over, like, some of our most wanted buffs. That's main meat of it, but I know we're just gonna, like, banter about a bunch of stuff. That's what happened last week with Plushie and I, because we chatted for, like, an hour and a half after we finished summer stuff. Just judging from how you guys didn't react to me saying, stuff about the buffs, I'm assuming you guys do have some ready.
I thought up 9. Is this 10, maybe?
10. All right. Wow. I thought up 4 in the pre-stream. I'll think of more. Like, I've got a bunch of ideas for buffs, but I just have to
I
dig
have
them out of my
more.
brain.
Psychotic one. Well, not psychotic, but
Okay.
you know, just not thought out ones.
Yeah, it's fine. We're here to judge them regardless. So.
All right. I mean, can you guys? I might need to cook some more.
Well,
about it some more.
Yeah, we
maybe
can-
you guys start first. Yeah.
yeah, we can go to you last. So, yeah, I guess that would put me second. So, all right, Rio, take it away. You're gonna be like carrying us here. I'll actually pull up. I can pull up the people as we're going.
I'm sure the first one I wrote down is one who I hate them, but I think they need a buff anyway, and that's QSH or
Shin Shi Huang.
Hyundai.
She.
I can't
yeah.
pronounce his name.
Yeah. We are the least Chinese people in this this podcast right now. So.
Exactly. I'm Chinese out of 10.
Yeah, I'm also not Chinese.
You live closer though. You speak Chinese though.
I do speak. Yeah,
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, that's miles closer than I am. Like, I can't even speak Irish, and I'm part Irish.
Damn.
Oh well, I'm American and I speak English.
Yeah, same.
Congrats. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Someone
Rio and
doesn't get it.
are like some of the only. I don't know. I feel like you have a very similar accent to me. I
I'm
feel
in
you.
Arizona.
Yeah, which
So.
is ironically like all the way over. That is West Coast, right?
Yeah, it's by
close.
California.
Yeah, that's ironic because like I'm East Coast, but yeah, it's mid-southern sorta. I guess that's the accent. It's very familiar. Anyways, as I'm still pulling up the browser, so just gotta. Okay, gotta put Rio in the middle here. And someone say something while I'm setting
Hello.
this up.
Yeah. We're gonna mic test.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
There's the new quest in JP where you gotta run through 30 servants, and you
Yeah.
can only use each servant once and each CE once.
Yeah,
And I think that's super interesting. I want more of that type of content because
Yeah.
it was mostly me throwing grails at it and one-shotting everything.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the free to play comp turned out to be a lot more difficult
Yeah.
than I expected.
Yeah, because there's just not a huge amount of options. Because we're talking about 30 servants there.
It's just the final. Like I think everything before that is fine. The final bar was horrible. I don't think there's any good options because there isn't a single class that has full class advantage, right?
Yeah.
Like every class that you do double damage to, she does double damage to you back. So it's very it's very complicated.
Yeah,
Not complicated. But it's
yeah,
hard.
I have not done it yet because I just haven't had much time. So are you only able to put 3 per team?
Yep.
Yes.
It limits you to 3 per team.
Ooh.
And every time you use a CE, it's out for the entire rest of the fight. So I ended up using the Berserker Black Grail, which I've called useless many times. Rising Mud Rain, which is the overcharged Black Grail, and normal Black Grail. So I'm like, I got 3 Black Grails practically. I'm like, I might as well use them.
Yeah. Getting some good use out of the side grades there. Okay,
yeah,
so
for once.
we have managed to, you have managed to distract people long enough for me to get his page up. Okay, so tell me, what would you like to buff about this strange person?
Skill 2. So look
Second
at his current
skill.
skill 2.
Okay, so 70% chance to stun all enemies for 1 turn, and 3 turn 30% attack on a 6 turn cooldown.
And I picked that one because I think it's the most useless side effect. The stun, no one cares. So Shihungdi is like, you can use him as a tank, but I think tank characters suck. Like Jeanne was also on my list because I think they absolutely suck. You don't need tank characters in a world where Castoria and Proto Merlin can be on the same team together. They're irrelevant.
Controversial
At this point, in my opinion.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I agree. Like, I partially agree. I really hate the design of Solemn Defense, like being able to be boosted by Overcharge. I feel like it kind of like invalidates so many other stall sort of strategies, and like there still haven't been a really consistent stall strategy that is not scared of buff removal. So like anything that beats Solemn Spam beats everything else. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And so looking at this skill, and then when you look at his MP gives you, based on MP level, crit damage up to like 100% at MP5, right? But he sucks at generating stars. And he even has Star Absorb.
Yeah.
He sucks at generating stars. So I don't know like how I'd scale it, but I would attach either like a 50 or 100, like make him like a solo type servant. Like people already use him for that, but make him like functional as it. So like give him like a 50 or 100% star gen for that 3 turns as well. And I would also throw on the MP, the same effect that Proto Merlin and Balbon have on their MP drain. So give him like a second MP drain for more delaying of MP tactics.
Ooh.
So just attach those 2 effects to it. And that allows him to generate stars, so he can then use his crits. So he can then like keep going because his he has a arts MP, which is terrible for mighty chains, but at least on the turns where he's doing it, he can MP A or MP QB and at least have a large hit at the end somewhere with a very large buster crit at the end.
Yeah, I guess that he's like one of the few arts NPs that kind of gets something out of mighty chains, but it's not as much as like quick or buster still. Yeah,
because he doesn't. Because if he's alone, he doesn't need to worry about using arts cards.
Yeah.
Right. So he can do the MP arts buster. He can then get hit because he's invincible for that turn. He then has a battery if he needs to use it, and it's also like stalling away NPs. So, but like, because like if you don't have someone to give him stars, he doesn't generate stars. Like an arts chain on him is gonna generate 0. Like what is it, like 2 or 3 stars or something like that?
Yeah.
It's just bad. And you're with a mighty chain, you have that like 20% chance to crit additional, but you're never going to get enough to actually do anything worthwhile with it. So I feel like his crit goes to waste. He's just better. It's just better in a solo situation. So I would rather them lean into that for him, because it's not like we don't have busted solo things anyway. You got Go, Tyra, Super Orion.
Yeah.
So why not?
Well, I
Yeah.
think the thing about that though is like you have to be really careful with him because if he gets to a point where he can NP almost, if not every turn, he becomes the best soloist in the game because he's invulning every time. It's like,
I mean,
like
yeah, that is fair. He
yeah,
is a very dangerous unit
yeah,
to buff.
and
I would have to.
yeah, because like if he makes his own stars, then he can just crit all the time, and then like holy shit, dude, like
But is he
always
gonna get
having
his
a
MP every turn? His game kind of
yeah. Yeah,
it's
but you
like
could give him some.
okay.
But if he has his own stars, that means you can give him some sort of NP Gamecraft essence, which might bridge the gap there.
Yeah,
Because
that's
like,
what I was thinking. Like, maybe 50%. Because like I think at 100% star gen, he'd generate too many stars, and be able to guarantee
yeah, yeah,
more. But I just
yeah,
think like something to allow him to use his crits. Maybe
yeah,
like just a passive star regen instead. But like, I just feel like he's so wasted. Like that crit buff is so pointless because he just never gets to use it.
yeah, yeah. He's people really want him to be a solo unit at times, and like he is a good solo unit because he's a ruler and he has good survival. But I've always really enjoyed him in a team, like because if you can get him to spam his NP, like you can have someone making stars on the team in place, and then he's actually able to take advantage of that. But then the problem is like he only has so many cards, so that can kind of rough up his NP
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah, I mean, at least his problem is like less prominent compared to someone like if you run Super Orion in the team and you don't expect to kill them like very quickly.
Yeah,
Like, but like I kind of get what you mean. It's just
yeah,
it's annoying to have a face card centric unit, not like to have face cards every turn. So
yeah,
that's also why I tend to lean towards making him a solo unit. Maybe that's
yeah,
it's more comfortable or something to you. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, and he's gonna be as a tank unit. He's useless on anyone with an AOE MP. Like it's not like
yeah,
Jeanne, who you can at least argue that.
yeah. And the funny thing is, like, the Invuln is only so useful in some cases because, like, he's a ruler and he has a lot of HP. So he's gonna be... He could tank a lot of stuff, like, by default. I guess that helps in, like, Pierce Invuln cases, but I don't know if I'd use him against someone who has Pierce Invuln or buff removal.
Well, he's a ruler, so like if he has Pierce Invuln, maybe he can just tank it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I just feel like if... Okay, I don't think he'll ever be a point... I don't think he should ever be at a point where he's more viable than, like, counterclassers, because if he gets to that point where he's, like, more... Like, because, like, then he'd be outclassing so many people, there's, like, why not... why use anyone other than him? I don't think
Well,
the Stargen would be busting him, though.
his damage is low and his NP gain isn't great, so I don't think I don't think I don't think it would affect his solo much, except for it would increase his damage capability, not
Yeah.
so much increase how it plays.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I just think sorry for keeping interrupting.
That's fine.
But like I just feel like like right now the game state as it is where people are just so they don't care about anything challenge quest related. I think it's fine to try to push the power levels of some like non-farming units to try to get
Yeah.
people excited about them. Like it's just like no matter how strong you make Qin Shi Huang, there's still gonna be a group of people that just doesn't care because you know he can't farm, so who cares, right? So I think at least I don't know. Like yeah, definitely be careful about buffing this character, but I think it's fine to push the power level a little bit.
Yeah.
Is my...
Yeah, especially since he's not AoE. Like
Yeah.
there's so many situations where single target is kind of pointless because you have a more applicable AoE servant. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't really have much of a reason to use any of my single target sabers if I have a stacked Ibuki, because she
Yeah.
works so fine in single
You
target.
can use face cards. Like there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to fix it.
Yeah, especially with
as-
especially with people like that, they can just boost your face cards to such an extent. Like, why worry about being AoE or not? You could just card.
Also, especially for stuff like Pinchi Huang, I'd say like like very annoying to use sometimes because
Yeah.
he's not just a single target. He's a single target that doesn't have a damaging MP, so he can't do stuff like MP card to kill 2 targets. Like you have to do something awkward like card MP card, but at that point you're not buffing your cards with the MP. So like I don't know. Like whenever I try to maybe like solo with Van Gogh, a lot of times I actually feel like double is a lot more comfortable for me because I can space out the face cards.
Yeah.
Well, Van Gogh has an advantage here because Van Gogh buffs her quick cards, like with the quick resistance down, and gets attack up on quick up. So Van Gogh, you can do quick NP Buster and target the weaker one with quick, and then just nuke the Buster. But you've probably already got like 2 or 3 levels of MP on her already, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Van Gogh's like the peak of solo nonsense when everyone else just kind of has to catch up, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on if the enemy are stunnable.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of how it is. So that's the balance point, I suppose.
Yeah, it also helps that she has stars per turn. Like, there is a pretty big distinction between self-buffers that have stars per turn and the ones that don't. Because the ones that don't, they're rough. Like, Hozui Nation, yeah, because, like, he has star gen, and that means, like, he has to use his cards to make stars. And if you're in a team, well, okay, now you don't have the cards that you made stars with. So...
Yeah. Like, Mighty Chains help a little bit. You have to bet on that 20%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they're just better as solo. It's like they make these solo servants and they're just absolutely pointless in teams like that. There's I don't remember her name. That one Lancer who has a terrible solo kit, but it's like clearly designed. Yeah, that one. The worst one. I'm like, I should think of a buff for her, but I literally couldn't think of anything. She's too much of a disaster to fix.
Yeah.
You can't fix that.
I don't feel like she's that much... I don't know. She's really weird. She's very gimmicky.
Her entire gimmick is she heals when she's crit, but that means she's getting crit. So, like...
yeah, and then that conflicts.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, and it conflicts with the buff removal she has, because sometimes, like, they'll have big crit rate buffs, but then she removes them, so she's... Yeah. I mean, she has, like, some decent offensive capabilities these days. Her having the stars per turn is a huge change for her.
That's a great buff, I have to say. But
she's
just still not that, like straightforward to use for.
She's
I can't really get her to work. I can't really get her to work either.
Whoa!
Yeah, it makes sense. She's the other Jeanne or Keen, whatever. There's 2 of them, and they're both self-buffers. I feel like she has more of it, like... I feel like she does better in AoE situations, because then she's getting hit more often.
Maybe.
Yeah, she's weird. She's very, very finicky. Speaking of AoE situations, I discovered something a couple days ago. I mentioned it, I think, in your server. But... you know how there's the dragons that drop eggs? You know how, like, they have AoE attacks? Yeah, they have AoE attacks normally, but their crits are single target.
Yeah.
I discovered something terrible. So if they crit and they target someone who has crit resist, like Castoria, they won't crit Castoria, but the crit will become AoE. So it does more... yeah, it does more damage to the other people.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
I hate those enemies. They're also the ones that, like, sometimes, like, most of the time they won't do buff removal, but then, like, whenever you mess up, they're like, now it's time to remove your buffs.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Murasaki is, like, one of the best things to bring against them, because she's got buff removal resist, she's got anti-lancer and demonic. But yeah, you need a built one. Yeah, I do have a built one, though. I have one of the strongest ones out there.
Mine's level 70.
Oh, for esports.
Esports, yeah.
It's a little bit.
EA brain rot. Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I have an esports one as well, but that's because, well, I had to
120.
roll. Yeah, I had to roll in P6. So.
Yeah, it happens.
It's the same with Summer Ibuki. Actually, I keep my Summer Ibuki at level 1 just for damage memes, because she actually still...
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen level 1 runs. They're a little bit painful to do.
Yeah, remember that level 1 writer Murasaki intern I did with against the slime demon thing.
Yeah, it was during
Yeah.
this one of the recollections.
Yeah, I think the last turn she did over 500k. I made a video out of it. I don't remember how much it was.
Oh yeah, I did a level 1 Melusine versus Google Ana thing because I'm like these quests are so easy. I have to use level 1s to do anything with it.
Yeah.
I think I lost. We were racing, and I still lost, even though Durga has anti-sky. Yeah. Anyways.
Yikes. Yeah, it's AOE. Kind of gotta expect it. Okay, so we got one of them out of the way. What else do you have for us? You said you have like 9 in your bag of tricks.
Yeah, 9. The second one is one that I'm sure you're tired of talking about him because you've talked about him so much.
Muramasa.
Days. It's Muramasa.
Oh no.
Dude.
No.
Oh wow. I feel like we're gonna be on this one for a while.
That comment chain. This is all written before that comment chain. I just said buff skill. The wording I put is buff skill 1. Do the Mordred thing. Make it 3 times 3 turns.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. The one thing I wouldn't like about that though is the arts buff. They did the same thing with Emiya Alter, and it's kind of awkward with him because you might use a card to loop with his arts card, but then you're down one of them. So if you're trying to NP 3 turns in a row, drop the damage. So maybe they could like make this 3 turns and the others one time or however.
That doesn't. Making it just 3 times doesn't change his effectiveness in challenge quests. It just makes his farming not terrible. Because your goal is to not use phase cards in farming. That's literally all it does, is it lets you have that stupid buff up for all 3 turns. Then you're not using 2k4 on turn 1, and then this skill on turn 2. And then on turn 3, you're like, if I don't have Oberon and Black Grail, he's gonna do no damage. Like mine's MP5 100, and 99% of the time I will just take my Okita Alter, who's level 90, and just use that instead, because she is a better looper and better damage dealer than Muramasa in almost every situation.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that comment chain. Okay, so a bit of context, because I think a lot of people are out of the loop. So recently, just a couple days ago, Toho made a video. It's how to use Muramasa, and it was generally favorable. I genuinely don't remember much of what he said because like I already know how to use him. So what can I do?
Just a normal overview. It was just like a normal servant introduction. There was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. I'd say it's better than the average wiki read, definitely. Because he does know what he's talking about generally. It's just he's kind of locked to NA, and that can kind of mess up his perspective.
Yeah.
But he said, like, at one point that Muramasa is a top tier looper, and all I said to start the comment chain from hell was I said, I don't think Muramasa is a top tier looper. He's kind of mid or low tier as far as arts loopers go, and that apparently was enough to set off like a bomb in the comments section that upset just one guy in particular, really, but a couple people, but one guy who was really into it.
I love how, he's deemed the strongest crit servant.
Oh yeah, they also called Muramasa the strongest crit servant.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh dude. See, that's the thing I love about Toho videos. It's not like the video itself. I love the comment sections because it is just so fun to go in there and shoot shit with them. It's great.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of. I think I didn't participate because I was doing something else, but I definitely read all of it because we were. There's a lot of screenshots flying around in my server. It's hilarious.
I think your masterpiece of a comment somehow got deleted or something or flagged.
It did?
I can't find it anymore because the one where you call, I say, you apologize for being too nice earlier.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
I'm going. Yeah, I'm going through. I'm gonna find that. Like
you
that is.
You took a screenshot of it. Can you bring that up?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
With like, I apologize for being too nice. You're actually stupid.
Yeah, dude. Like that. Oh, dude, that was such a good chain. Let's see if I can find it right quick. it shouldn't hide it from me if it hides it from anyone. Oh, dude. It was such a... Oh, dude. I well over 1,000 words. Well over 1,000 words.
Hey, what's up? It's Stu.
Hello to...
I have the link to the
Yeah, I got the
the
video
image.
open.
No, I have a link to the comment image, like an image of the comment. It's that one.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
What the
we
hell?
just started it.
Damn.
Damn, dude. I'm glad I screenshotted it. Holy shit. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, you said I apologize for the last comment. I apologize for trying to be nice. Everything about your comment is just terrible.
Yeah, dude. I'm just gonna read through this. Like this is just such a funny chain. Like I'm proud of some of that shit, dude. Let's see. Got to resize shit in OBS. I usually don't do it this way. Like I usually don't have it geared towards comment chains. It's just always nicer to have it sitting there on the screen, visible for people. You know what? We can take turns reading this, okay? I'll read what I said, and one of you two can read what he said. Whoever's
Where is it? Where is it?
I'm gonna pull it up on screen. Okay, so the very first comment, what kicked off this whole discussion was I said, "Oh shit! Oh my god! I'm gonna spend so much time."
Novel.
Dude,
Yeah, I am too verbose.
College thesis, you know.
Yeah.
Look, we're all writing. Look, if you saw my comment chain, I also wrote like 2 theses.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, your paragraphs were smaller.
Yeah, but
4 years of study. 4 years of study, all comes down to this moment where
Muramasa sucking.
we just slander Muramasa. Holy crap.
Okay. So one of the most vastly overrated servants in the game. Each of his skills look great on paper, but as soon as it comes to application, he just gets really awkward. You want to use his second skill earlier because his NP damage is very subpar, and you might be able to break a bar with crits, and then you have no invul and pierce on the next 5 turns. Oftentimes, evasion is a break a bar gimmick, meaning that the loop was pointless, so, like, who cares about looping? Ibuki doesn't have that issue because it's on her NP, and Okutan also doesn't have that problem unless it's unremovable, which is common, but, like, hey, at least you have an option when it is removable. People hype his crit damage a lot, but if the enemy isn't invuln or evading, his crits really aren't that great. His attack stat is lower than his competition, and the only thing he has for 3 turns is 100% crit. Again, that sounds like a lot, and it is a decent amount when combined with the 50% card, but you only have that for a turn, and that's the main steroid for his NP, so you might not have it at the same time as the cards. I'm just riffing off of what I'm saying. It's also the only time you can guarantee crits. Please note that it takes more than double 20-30, which is that's something that Toho mentioned. He mentioned that that you could run double 20-30 and that would be enough to get him to crit.
Which is bad advice. Yeah. I'm just gonna be upfront.
Yeah, non-MLB, definitely not. MLB, even then, he has Saber Absorb, but Rider Absorb is what you want to go for if you want 20 per turn. So if you want reliable crits without Absorb on a Saber, you'll usually want at least 30 per turn for consistency. 16 to 20 is not enough. So we're halfway through this comment, and the other comment is longer than this. One might think that you can just generate the other 10 or so with cards, but in most arts teams, you're spamming arts chains, which generally make almost no stars. Muramasa does have a star gen buff, so he can make a little bit, but just as I said earlier with Enshin, you have to use the cards to make the stars, which means they won't be there to crit. It's an Enshin problem. It wouldn't be as much of an issue if his NP had better hit counts, but it's 9 hits total if you're up against 3 enemies. So that's like 10 stars. So yeah, I guess that's the 10 that you need if you have double 20-30. Okay. We don't quite have the Sergeanting arts supports yet, and even then, only one of the arts crit supports offers a meaningful amount of defensive support. In reference to, like, Kazgil does make decent stars, but like that's star gen, like, and he only has like a little soft survival. Then Jufu is a lot of stars, but she gives you like a little heal, and that's basically it. And then there's also Proto Merlin, and she actually does give you hard survival and heal, or HP, same thing, basically. Ultimately, Muramasa is decent at looping, and that's basically it. He doesn't have any notable synergy in a team like an Arts DPS ideally would. Looks good on paper, but has some really bad damage issues that a lot of whales that NP5 him might not notice. And ironically, we have a whale here that has him NP5 that does notice.
He's 100 too. This is the most thing I notice is that my non-grailed sabers are better.
Yeah.
Tragedy.
Yeah. So, Ibuki and Okita are notably better, except he has the edge of being an art servant, so the biggest reason why people think he is broken is because he has the same color as the best servant in the game, who can support him. If Quick had something as strong as Castoria, people would finally realize how much better Okitan is in general. Unfortunately, people are just probably gonna write her off as worse because Game Press was stupid enough to put her in B+, when they put Muramasa in A, by the way.
They put Okita in B+.
Yeah.
They put
Game
the best quick looper in the game in B+.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
Quick isn't meta, though.
I'm gonna 100% blame Game Press from now on for like every time I get like a comment about, Quick sucks.
I also
Quick
blame App Media. I blame
App
App
Media.
Media and Game Press.
Yeah, we looked at App Media like in voice chat like a couple days ago, and it was fucking horrible. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
For swear, but yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah. I know I am the Ibuki guy, and I'm probably supposed to be biased as a result, but I've spent tons of time using him and his competition in comparable scenarios. In an AoE fight, Okita wins with Rainbow's... I always say Rainbow. Ruler Skadi. In the same quest, in a non-gold team, Ibuki wins. Muramasa always struggles with damage and desperately needs Black Grail to keep up, which definitely doesn't help his survival. The first comment, it's not the interesting one. He makes reference to something Rio said, but that's not really what I was talking about,
It's
so we'll
the
skip
Nicholas comment where he says, "You make it sound like Muramasa's flaws are massively insurmountable, when in reality they're easily fixable, especially with crit stars and absorption, especially now that there are so many arts crit supports. So many."
Yes, so many.
We
All,
have
like,
one.
3 or
It
4.
lasts one turn.
What are they counting Pope Joan? You're never running him with Pope.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
they're
Pope.
counting Pope
Yeah, the
Joan,
funny...
but you're never running
Oh
Pope
boy, those
Joan.
2 arts cards are definitely gonna appreciate it.
Like, here's the thing, right? I think this is what a lot of people like to bring up. For example, oh my god, Izo is anti-man, so I want to use Art of Death on him, right? So, but I think this logic is backwards. Like, Arts crit supports like Pope Joan, for example. Let's just take Pope Joan, for example. She gives stars per turn, star absorb up, and then arch critical damage up. So would that benefit a character that already has half of these things? Or would that benefit a character that completely doesn't have any of these things, but they have their skills to buff their other aspects, but now they have this to make up for what they didn't have before? So like, wouldn't me throwing Pope Joan on like, I don't know, on like someone like I can't think of one on Durga, wouldn't it work better than Muramasa? Maybe it could work better than Muramasa because she didn't have anything. Yeah.
She can make all of her cards arts, so that actually there is something there.
Yeah. So like, what I mean is just like, I feel like a lot of these servants, like, instead of doubling down on something, like sometimes it's better if you make up for what the servant did not have. So like, it doesn't really mean Muramasa. Like if you're bringing up arts crit supports make Muramasa better, I think that's a wrong argument. Like, your argument should at least be like, if I were him, my argument would be, most art servants can't generate stars and they don't have a huge crit boost, but Muramasa does. So, in that aspect, he's better. But nah, people can't come up with right arguments.
I
all
think,
the time, right?
Yeah, I think something that a lot of people get messed up. Arts crit servants, this might sound weird, but arts crit servants aren't about crit damage usually. They're about getting arts crits so they get more gain and then loop more often. Like that, like for example,
Usually,
Estrella. Yeah, Estrella, she has, like, you look at her kit, everything points to her being a crit damage servant, but no one uses her as a crit damage servant. She does NP damage because she's able to loop so easily because of her arts crits, which she makes happen really easily. Uh, an exception that one might point to is Saber Lancelot, which I think is hilarious because I think you guys will agree with me on this. Would Saber Lancelot be better with the Buster NP?
Probably.
Exactly. I don't see a reason why the arts NP
Does anyone
would.
use him for crits? Like,
I
does
mean-
anyone use him? Like,
I mean, he
You-
has
yeah,
like
you,
he has.
you use him for refund. Like his crit is definitely for refund. Like because
Yeah.
like when people back in the day, people were like, "Oh, Saber Lancelot's so good because I could do MPAA and I get by MP. I can do MPAA next turn. I can do MPAA again, right? So like I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like-
It's just like he's got really consistent crits. That's always been the appeal. But these days, it's like with Jufu, it's so much easier.
I also want to point out that for like arts crits, you know who the best arts crit support is? It's not Pope Joan.
It's
Just take Van
Van
Gogh.
Gogh.
Just
yeah,
take Van Gogh.
All right, look here. Okay, here's the thing. She actually no, never mind. I agree because like her crit numbers at MP1 might be lower, but she does so much.
She has
It's-
tack up. She has two
Yes,
attack ups.
yeah,
Star
defense-
absorb.
yeah, the star
everything,
absorb.
Defense down.
People
Loopable
they sleep on the
MP.
Star Absorb so much.
Star Absorb.
Like I
Yeah.
keep seeing people recommend Brynhild as Star Absorb support. Like what the fuck?
No,
Dude, we have Van Gogh, we have Miss Crane. They are infinitely better for supporting than Brynhild. Like, what the fuck, dude? Even Santa Martha is better for it because she has more of a pointed support focus. Just, man, people these days.
Yeah.
Is there someone that actually boosts arts crit? Yeah, Pope Joan, she does that. Yeah, and I
Like,
guess like
Don't pull.
Arts crits is also hard because like I was using back when Summer Melusine first came out, I was using doing Kiara, right? The big Kiara.
oh my.
And like Melusine after like the third NP, which is 120% crit, plus double Pope, so that's 320%, plus Van Gogh 420%, is still only doing about 600k on an arts crit. A Buster Servant with 400% crit damage would be doing more than 1 million probably at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
Buster
is,
is just
like-
so much better for critting. Like,
that
Hard
is the
damage.
most crit like on an
Literally
arts. Like
unbeatable. Yeah.
400% crit on an art servant is insane, and it's still only doing like 600k.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, arts is the worst card type for critting. Like, you got Quick that can at least make stars, and then you got, like, Skadi at least that can buff the quick crits, but you're usually going for the Buster crits with the Quick NP anyways.
Yeah, no, quick is the best one because you do quick arts buster, you get the MP back, or you do the MP, you get your MP back with the arts card, and then you do a ton of damage with the buster card.
Yeah. Yeah, this
Like,
is
if
what
you're
I
in
keep...
like a card situation, quick is the best for that type of thing.
Yeah, dude, this is what I keep saying, and Plushy disagrees with me.
What? Oh, say it again.
I said quick is, if you have to use face cards, quick is one of the best ones because you can quick MP, arts for the regen, and then buster for the big damage.
Okay.
If you do buster, you're
No.
doing a buster NP, but then your arts and quick are weak. Sure, it's going to get your MP back, but they're not going to do a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, I also disagree with him in solos. Like I also disagree with Rio in solos. It's the same thing. I
Yeah.
think Buster MPs are the best for solos. Because I tend to value Buster MPs that give you buffs instead of just do damage for solos.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like-
if we're talking solo, that's different. I was more like with double Skadi or double ruler Skadi, like
Yeah.
you're doing like a challenge quest. I think that quick NPs are very handy to have with ruler
Yeah,
Skadi.
yeah. Because quick MPs inherently deals the most, right? Like I also understand the argument with solos, because like honestly, if the solo servant's MP doesn't really do that much, maybe it's better if it's a quick, because the quick card doesn't always generate that much MP. Depends on the servant, really. And unless you're unless you're running someone like Summer Bavanchi, where her MP stacking up is important. Honestly, yeah, a quick MP might be better if you do like QAB or QBA. You have the choice to like burst with MP AB or do MP gain with MPBA. Yeah, that's understandable. Like like Tyra is good solo, so kind of with that.
Yeah, I like NP Buster art because sometimes the Buster will get you to overkill faster, then you get more on the arts card. It kind of depends on.
You can rearrange them depending on what the situation is, but I think quick NP Buster and then arts card follow up is like one of the better ones if you're actually having to if you're actually aiming for mighty chains, unless like you're a Buster servant and your MP can take out everything and the cards are just regen at that point. And if you're an arts servant, you have to hope that your NP took out the bar and you get arts cards so you can refund, because your other cards aren't doing any damage because you don't got any of the multiple buff type there. So you're just hoping for arts cards with arts servants still.
Yeah. So I think we got a little sidetracked. Holy shit.
A little.
Yeah. I mean,
Very
like
much
even
so.
off of this, which is also a bit of a sidetrack. Okay, so Muramasa's flaws are insurmountable. Okay, then I reply, yeah, look at this. I'm ratioing this guy. I got 4 likes in my comments, and he doesn't have any. Ha.
Damn, what a strong ratio. It's double.
Yeah.
It's twice as much, man.
Oh, dude. No, dude, it's worse. It's infinitely times as many, because this is a different person.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't mean to imply that he is garbage. I get pretty verbose about discussion like this, so I'm sorry if I gave off that impression. My point is that in comparison to other AoE sabers, he isn't that great, and in comparison to other arts SSRs, he's pretty weak. With servants like him, it's awkward to try to go for NP spam and crit spam, which is kind of what we were talking about there, I think. The servants that enable critting in an arts team are usually lower as far as damage boosting and defense goes, like Jufu or Johanna, Yo Mama. The only exception is Proto Merlin. Most AoE don't either don't rely on SARS for looping or have their own built into their kit, like Ibuki, for example. Yeah, she's an unfair example though. If you're looking for someone to spam and P and crit at the same time, Okutan is much better at it because her refund is better and she makes stars while she does loop. I've seen her refund 50% just with Paracelsus. I recall trying the same thing with Muramasa, and I think he got like 40%. So it's been a while, but it's something like that.
They really like screwing with a card refund on art servants. I feel like, especially modern ones. It's just we don't like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Now comes the one where he goes off.
Jeez.
It's like, yeah, I think you're making this sound like a much bigger problem than it really is. The fact of the matter is, he's one of the best crit units in the entire game, with only a few rival among arts units. Where there is discussion of how good he is in comparison to some quick units like Okita or Lancelot or Buster units who naturally pump out big crit damage due to double Koyan. My counter argument against Okita is that she needs Skadi for her crits and star generation to reach the ceiling, and she also relies on her NP to do it, and Muramasa doesn't. A friend Skadi can get you by, but you obviously want 2, friend Skadi and either of your 2 Skadis. But you obviously want 2, which is not everyone will have, because Muramasa is arts, and a simple team of Hans and Waver will still provide you a greater star up for a crit team with good survivability. I'm having an aneurysm reading this. Now, obviously,
survivability, dude, he has no survival, and she has 2 involts.
You're telling me Okita Alter can't run Hans and Waver and make it work?
Dude,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling one of my comments.
Now, obviously, this isn't a free quest that doesn't matter, but so do your critiques about Muramasa. Castoria makes every arts unit an MP spammer. but not every arts unit needs Castoria to be great because arts has way more options than anyone else. Quick doesn't, and that's why quick units for the most part will always lag behind the others. Maybe with Summer Chloe, this will change. It doesn't, but quick doesn't do well right now, and I like quick units, and I think that their deficiencies are overblown, but they clearly exist. My critique with Buster is that it's such a huge investment that honestly won't be worth using unless you're an endgame player. Muramasa isn't perfect unit in any way, but you're framing it that he's not good, and that's just false. Muramasa is only bad because arts units we've gotten since him have continued to be super broken, just like how Muramasa was broken on release. FGO is a game of power creep. It's not. And that becomes especially apparent when you look at the kits of certain servants compared to others. I would argue the Summer Kama is in a similar situation. This doesn't make these units bad, though, because for a vast majority of the content of this game, they will be able to perform well, so long as you put them in a good team.
I just gotta point out, he said Muramasa isn't perfect, but the way you're framing it is that he's good. He's not good, and that's just fault. Okay. I'm not saying that he is bad. He's not terrible at all.
Muramasa is only bad later. He calls Muramasa bad himself.
Yeah, dude, he's not terrible at all. I'm just saying that he isn't god tier like Redditors seem to think. Then he basically says the exact fucking same thing. I don't know, man.
Do you know whose skill set compared to Muramasa looks like a power creep? Okita Alter Summer. Yeah, like...
But yeah, and then it kind of goes on, and like some stuff about game press gets brought up.
Look, the moment you bring up game press, I'm out. I'm out of the room. I'm literally out of the room, bro.
Well,
actually, to be fair, I was the first person that mentioned game press.
So Ash Gray says people base their opinions off game press are sheep. Just saying. I think they were saying that towards us, and so I sarcastically said, "True, Nicholas should think past what game press says."
I don't know if they were thinking that, because Game Press thinks that Muramasa is better.
I don't know.
Game Press says Muramasa is better. I just spilled Coke on my laptop. Thanks.
Alright, guys. So, you see, like, we got this big essay right here. Then he had, like, a big one that didn't have any indentation. What a pleb. So it was more of a pain to read. Let's look at this one.
Okay.
It doesn't fit on stream.
Damn, it's like...
Go ahead and read this. Go ahead and read your college thesis here.
See you guys in like 5 minutes when I'm done. Okay, in response. Wow, the amount of sheer stupidity and drivel that you just dropped in this comment section is incredible. You know what? I apologize for the last comment. I apologize for trying to be nice. Everything about your comment is just terrible.
Damn. Oh, that hits hard.
Yeah.
It's true, though.
Hey, no, this is Muramasa related. We're not getting off topic. 1. Muramasa is not one of the best crit servants in the game. He's not even remotely close. I have no idea what happened that makes you think something like that. Did you see a 100% crit buff and think that's all it takes to be a good crit servant? Van Gogh is a good crit servant. Orion is a good crit servant. The reasons why they isn't because they have 3-turn crit buffs. The reason why is because they have other big buffs to stack on top of those to push them further and can make themselves crit more than once every 5 turns. If you want a good crit saber, look at Ibuki. She doesn't have 100% crit, but she has 42% buster, 20% more per NP, 40% attack for 3 attacks. She synergizes a lot better with servants that make stars more often, so Buster servants, like, if you look at all the Buster servants versus all the art servants, there's so much more. Okay. Also, just gotta point out, all of her stuff, like, all of it lasts 3 turns, unlike Muramasa's. Her damage doesn't drop off after 1 turn. Okay, I literally said that. Okay, if you've ever used them both, you would know that she crits way harder than he does with or without Vich. Arts is the worst crit card type, which, yeah, just reiterating what we said earlier. 2. Okitan doesn't need Skadi. Please do not try to lecture me on how she performs with or without Skadi. I absolutely guarantee you, beyond the furthest shadow of a doubt, that I have used her more than you have. I've used her with either Skadi, with double Skadi, with neither Skadi, budget, solo, in fights that are AoE, in fights that are single target. It is so abundantly clear that you haven't used Okutan without Skadi. Her gains are incredible, she makes a ton of stars, and then she crits and doubles her gain. She has an absorb if you're lacking on stars, and she has an NP that makes a ton of stars. Back on the topic of gain, I literally already told you she refunds better in the top budget refund booster, with the top budget refund booster than Muramasa does. That refund booster is supposed to help arts more, and yet she gets more out of it. The fact that you think she not only needs Skadi, but needs double Skadi is just a tell as to how much of a how much of your words are sourced from your ass.
Oh, that
Sick burn.
that one's gonna hurt. Yeah,
Talking out of his ass. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
3.
like,
Waver and Hans. Oh, sorry.
no, you go. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Lakshmi is a better crit saber than Muramasa. It's true. It's true.
Damn.
3.
Imagine needing Star Bomb when I use an MP and get more stars.
Yeah. Get 8 hit, so you make at least 20 stars, basically in any class. And that's more than he can make with his first skill. 3. Waver and Hans benefit anyone. If anything, they should benefit Okutan more because she crits more often. They synergize with Ibuki as well, since she has her own defense buff. Yeah, just going on talking about Ibuki. I said I'm the Ibuki guy, what can I say? And the NP seal combos with his NP drain. Waver and Hans is helpful to Muramasa because they're making up for his flaws, not because they're complementing his strengths. Also, have fun with whatever NP comes from Muramasa. I'm speaking from experience here as well, because I've used Muramasa in basically all the same scenarios I mentioned with Okutan. The same goes for Ibuki. At one point, I wanted to make an extensive comparison video, but that fell through because it was too much, and I was too busy at the times it was relevant. I still have several hours worth of gameplay saved on my hard drive, though. 4. Buster has around the same amount of supporters as arts. Sure, none of them are on par with Castoria, but neither are any of the other arts supports. 5. Quick is definitely behind in terms of... Thank you for the sub. I did not turn off that notification. Quick is definitely behind in terms of support. However, considering how well she competes despite not having a Castoria glued to her hip, it is pretty telling of how much weaker Muramasa is. If there was comparable Quick support, she would absolutely dominate. 6. Summer Chloe isn't a Quick support. Yeah, whatever. 7. I don't mean to imply that Muramasa is bad. He's perfectly usable, but to relate it to something you said, he isn't one of the best crit servants in the game. My very first servant stated that he was overhyped. Something can be good and overhyped. They aren't mutually exclusive. I'm just highlighting most of the reasons why he is overhyped. But hey, if you can condense whole nuanced takes into you think he is bad, then you automatically win, right? 8. And the final point. Muramasa is, and I'm quoting him here, Muramasa is only bad because the arts units we have gotten since him continue to be super broken, just like how Muramasa was broken on release. So we agree? Let me quote myself. In comparison to other arts SSRs, he is pretty weak. End quote.
Yeah, that's and after that it just kind of like he fizzles
Devolved.
out.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Muramasa. So my opinion on Muramasa.
See, he replied to me after that, but I was disappointed with this because he was too nice. Like he would. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Also, wow, holy paragraph, Batman.
You're not. No one's reading that. That's a wall of text with no spacing.
To be fair, I did. See, it's not as bad if you look at it on mobile because it condenses it down to like half the width.
This is like my YouTube video tags, dude.
Dude, I should just put this entire thing as a YouTube video tag. It has all the words, has all the buzzwords: MP5, Artoria, Muramasa, servant.
It's gonna get you so many views.
Yeah.
So many views.
But yeah, basically, like he actually was kind of chill about this, which I was kind of annoyed by because like when when I said that, I wanted him to get mad and respond to me angry too, but he wanted to de-escalate, and so I just didn't reply again because it's boring.
I mean,
And someone
at
else
least,
jumped in, whatever.
See this escalate.
The one thing I said in the comments and in my own comment chain that I just wanted to point out was like, and he said he was too busy laughing at me, saying my comment was crazy. And what my comment was I don't hate Muramasa, I like him, but he's objectively not a great looper. Maybe compared to who else you have, he's better, but when compared on equal grounds, he's lacking. There's no problem with that. People can use who they like. I have a 120 Nito Alter. She's by far worse than Space Artoria and Summer Kama, and I'm not going to delude myself into thinking she's better, but I use her because I like her. Same with Muramasa. You can use him and accept his issues compared to others. Just don't delude yourself. And he's like, oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, oh, this dude's, I'm like, I can't deal with this dude anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm reasonable. Anyway, so that's why we should buff Muramasa's first skill to be 3 hits, 3 turns. Now that I've distracted us for 40 minutes on that.
What I feel like is an even better aspect to that buff is making the absorption 3 turns. Like, 3-turn absorb is so good. Like, it's kind of
star regen too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ours
sure.
doesn't have a lot of star regen. Like, what do they got?
Look at what Melusine has, right?
Yeah.
Look at Melusine.
Yeah,
Melusine's
honestly.
like, what's 30 stars per turn? Yippee.
Yeah.
No, you can't look at it as 30. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Melusine.
No, Melusine gets 30.
Yeah.
Like,
normal
sometimes.
Melusine.
Normal Melusine only 10. Yeah, but Melusine also has 5,000 absorb. No one's getting anything.
Yeah. See. She makes 10 stars 4 turns, not just 3 turns.
Yeah,
so
also
it's better
her
than
her MP dumps 10 stars.
Oh yeah.
And so she's guaranteed 20 stars a turn. And like my Melusine generates with an arts chain like 40 stars.
Yeah, because of
turns.
I saw you comment about
class
that.
Score. And it's like, so like she's a arts crit servant now, right? That's how this works.
Dude,
right? For refund. Yeah. She's usually overkill in refund.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like, this is something I said, like, as soon as I saw the class score. I was saying that, like, one of the most impactful things on there was going to be the star gen. Just plus 50% for a whole class is so absurd. Like, my Ibuki can make almost 50 stars. She's an art server.
I rushed star gen and extra attack. Like, everything else is fine, but the 2 most important are star gen and extra attack. If you do class score and get 50% extra attack and you unlock the append, your extra attack does 100% damage, 150% star generation, 100% NP generation. Like, your extra attacks become insanely good.
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing. There was a guy we used to make fun of for liking extra attacks. He was a prop.
He's a prophet.
He was a prophet.
5 hits.
People hated him because he told them the truth.
Yeah, dude, I look forward to the Avenger class score, because then we get to see, like, maximum Spishtar extra attack. Yeah. Like, that is gonna be massive, dude. She's already got the...
Pen 1 max with the MP. And...
Yeah, it's plus 100% effectiveness, then plus 100% damage, and then you can do a Buster Brave Chain, so you get plus 50% from the
or
Buster
a
Chain.
Doesn't matter.
Well, you get a 3 of a kind bonus, which affects the extra attack if you do 3.
I thought Mighty Chain does as well.
No, Mighty Chain does that. If you do a Mighty Chain, you get all 3 bonuses. You get the game bonus, the star gen bonus, and the damage bonus.
Yeah, the 3 of a kind bonus is.
Chain.
Yeah, the 3 of a kind bonus isn't from Buster though. It's just from chains and in general. I don't remember them saying that, but I don't.
Is it different? This game's gameplay is very deep.
Yeah. I don't know if they even mention it anywhere. I just know it's a thing. I think that's a data mine thing, because there's so many things like that. Okay, we're getting
half the stuff like traits and like passives. Like,
hey, to be fair, Emiya in that one interlude briefly mentions attributes. That's the same thing, right?
Look, we're like talking way out of like they didn't even give us the numbers for the mana burst for skills. So like we can at least work with that. Right?
The 5-hit extra attack.
Yeah, the 5-hit extra. It's not a joke anymore. You thought that was a joke? It's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
Musashi Berserker has a 5-hit extra attack, guys. She's so good.
That's not funny anymore. Oh my god,
Okay.
it's real. The timeline.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
converging.
All right. What's your third one? We
My
spent
third
like
one
30 minutes.
was Jeanne. My argument is interlude her NP again. Go pull up her NP and look at the buff you get from using her NP.
Look at how much she gains from other than the invol.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want you to look at that and like go to the upgraded version.
Yeah. This
Look
is
at
the
that
upgrade.
defense up.
This is the upgrade.
5%. My
Yeah.
argument was I don't know if I wanted to say change it from 5 to 25 to 25 to 50 or 20 to 40 because I don't know if like 50% defense up is too much.
I feel like
but,
20 is fine.
but,
I don't
like-
know though. Like you increase the minimum, then you get the maximum to a really high number.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like change the scaling completely. Change it to like 20 to 40%, like
Oh,
total, or
jeez,
20 to
dude.
30% total, like ranging between 20. So it starts at 20, then goes to 25, then 27.5 or 26.5, then 28.9, and then 30. You know,
pair with a lot
like
of
like the
stuff.
normal terrible scaling from 3 to 4. It's always bad. As you can see here, it increases like 2.5%. But like,
Yeah.
but I think like at lower MP levels, it should be better. I also think the HP regen should be 3 turns, not 2 turns. And
Oh, I
just give her,
forgot
like,
it was 2
20%.
turns.
Yeah,
Wait a
That's kinda
second.
stupid, yeah.
And then give her like a 20% attack up. Do a Skadi thing, like where they give her an attack up. So like that way,
Yeah.
there's something more to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to interlude her MP again. But
I mean,
it's so
they did it for
bad.
Vlad anyway. Like, I
Yeah.
agree. I think like when you first mentioned that, people are gonna say, "Oh my god, 40% defense up for 3 turns." Don't you just easily stack that up to like over 100% so you take 0 damage?
Her MP gain sucks.
Yeah, do you know who also does that? Solemn defense. So like
Yeah.
I just feel like anything that's too broken in stall just gets
Also-
thrown out the window because solemn defense exists. It's
I would
so
like to point
stupid.
out that Balvan does 50% attack down, which is
Yeah.
the same as 50% defense up for a
Yeah.
turn.
But it's only
So-
one turn.
I
It's
know,
not
but you
too bad.
use it every turn.
Look, I
So
only start using every turn on turn 2.
So you know what's how both she and Amakusa had revelation, and you know how Amakusa got the buff to it, which is like 30% NP gain for one target and NP regen.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she should have gotten. Like that would have been so good for her, because then she has a little bit of NP gain support, and then she makes more stars.
Yeah, but I would rather her NP not be garbage. If they were gonna give her just one buff,
Eh.
I mean,
I did write down write down an alternative of like buffing the first skill to like add on some like damage effect for the party, but
I don't
I would
feel.
rather them just fix her MP because the defense is 3 turns, right? But the invincibility is 1 turn, so it's really only 2 turns of defense anyway.
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't-
one turn is wasted.
I
It's kinda
guess-
dumb.
I don't really feel like her NP is that bad. It's just in comparison to Castoria's NP, it just looks so shit.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I think it's more so just like other stuff is advanced to being more broken than this is.
Castoria Berserker's NP is more useful to the party than this.
I mean, to be fair, it does have debuff removal. Yeah, like you get a little bit
yeah,
of heal
debuff removal is
and
good.
debuff removal.
But
It's
guess
just
who
you
also
can get
removed
yeah,
debuff damage?
yeah. Castoria makes yeah.
don't
Castoria is just unfair.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, you shouldn't compare. Obviously, I don't think the line that people draw should be, oh my god, you know, this character's weaker than Castoria, so it's justified to buff them. That's just, you know, you can buff any character in this game. But I do think in the stall department, you can definitely try to, I don't know, do
Yeah.
something that she can't, or something. I don't.
I
That's
feel
what I was like, because like the HP regen, because like the defense, make the defense up higher and make the HP regen last for 3 turns, and then it's something to use instead of Castoria, like because then you have, you know, your defense is down, you're regenning more HP, and you can slot it like say third in an MP chain and you get a 2000 HP regen, you know, that's 6000 over the turn. It kind of removes the need, like she could then like take the place of like Proto Merlin in a stall team, or you could use Proto Merlin and Jeanne instead of Castoria, like in a stall team, and you know.
Honestly, I feel like part of the problem is like other servants give offensive, like more offensive stuff, but still give good defensive stuff. So this can be a bit overkill. Sort of like what who am I thinking? Medea Lily. Medea Lily is a really good example of that because she only offers healing and debuff control, but you don't need that much of it most of the time. So going for someone like Asclepius who has both, but to a lesser extent, but he has more different things.
Yeah. I mean, Jeanne was like very clearly like the year one design around Jeanne is just, you know, an MP that gives the entire team invul, which is loopable. Is absolutely absurd, right? So they just banked everything on that MP and then made every other part of her kit just absolute garbage. So like there's just no way that you can fix her with one buff. Like it's just too hard.
Well, her second skill is, I think, was a good buff because it's like, what is it, a double defense down?
Was it?
It's
Was it?
Yeah, it's 50.
No, it's
50%. Yeah, it's 50% down
it's
for
just
one
not
turn.
all she needs. She needs more. I'm saying that's a good.
Yeah.
Like if she had another good skill and her MP was useful, she'd be good. But the problem, well, I mean, okay, her third skill is terrible. I don't know. You can just delete that third skill. We can go back to having only 2 skills with her. Like bound on a servant. Like
hey,
this
we
is
got
a skill that needs a buff.
We got Kashin Koji synergy here, okay?
Oh
it's one servant. It's not even AOE.
It's not even AOE.
It's not even it, dude. I hate this. Like Kashin Koji has the exact same part. She has a skill that is bound to one target.
Yeah.
Her skill 3 is like.
So use them together and they can hit 2 targets.
Oh my god, that's.
Oh
amazing.
my god.
This getting places. Wait, doesn't Saber Medusa?
Let's go get this man. He's getting too good at ideas here.
Okay, so
no, it's petrified. I'm not sure if she gets the buff from it, but they work the same.
Yeah, it's. I think it's the same thing. I think they're both bound.
Oh, it's not bound. Oh my gosh, it's not even the same.
Koji probably doesn't get the extra attack.
It's bound.
Is it
it says
no.
It's bound.
No, I mean Saber Medusa.
No, Saber Medusa is petrified.
Yeah, she has petrified.
So it's different from bound.
Yeah.
So
she no Kashin Koji. Dude,
so no Kashin Koji synergy.
Nobody even remember who she is. Like half of chat doesn't know who that is.
Yeah, do you know who Kashin Koji is, guys? She's the spider chick that no one remembers. I got spooked by her when rolling for Summer Castoria, and I suffer nightmares of it still.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so easy to forget she's unlimited.
Yeah, the entire chat, like 70% of the chat doesn't know who the hell she is.
She's one of the quick AoE with a 30% battery. You know, that whole string we got where only one of them was good, and that was the tea lady.
Do you realize how little it narrows it down?
Yeah, they're a quick servant with a 30% quick buff and a 30% battery. Do you have any idea how little that narrows this down? Like, that was half the servants from last year.
Yeah.
I'm pulling her up. It's this person. See?
She's perm.
Yeah.
Look, her design is cool. She turns into a spider in third.
I'm not a fan of the ball joints in the later ascensions. I don't care for ball joints.
Oh well, there you go. That's her. I mean, that's pretty much the same.
Quick card.
Yeah, that quick card. That's about her entire personality, right? It's just like.
Yeah. Yep. There she is.
See, I'm not into dolls, so I'm gonna pass. Yeah, the wiki's next button doesn't take you to the next thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we spent a lot less time on that one than Muramasa or the previous one. What's your fourth one?
That is Ruler Artoria. And I
NP
wrote
upgrade?
No. I said give her the Meltrilus. Well, I wrote 2 upgrades. I said give her the Meltrilus treatment. Change her skill 1 buff from, instead of a delay and a 1-time 1-turn attack up, change it to a, once again, this is just to kind of help with farming, change it to a 2-time.
Oh my god.
2-turn attack with no delay. So then one you can double stack with Vitch on the final wave.
Hold on. I'm struggling to find her because if I search up Artoria, it pulls up like
Ruler
5
Artoria,
other ones.
If Ruler Artoria, if she could double stack that buff, you realize that she has like would have like 150% attack up. Like her attack stat may be low, but if she could double up that attack up, doesn't matter if her attack stat's low.
Okay.
She'd be actually doing damage.
Yeah, can you summarize that once again, right quick? I missed half of it.
Do you see how it has the delayed buff, and it's a 1-time 1 turn?
Oh yeah.
On the first skill.
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
looking at the second one. So what I'm saying is change it to a 2-time 2 turn with no delay. So you pop it, it's immediately active. You have a 2-hit 40% attack, 30% attack up. So instead, make it a 2-hit 30% attack up, so she can NP, have it that turn she uses the thing, and then on the next turn, after your Vitch cooldowns come back up, you can use it again, and now you're at 60% attack up. And now look at her third skill, and she has a 40% attack up, so that would mean like 100% attack up. And the problem, one of the things with busters, they have only buster buffs, right?
Yeah.
And so that's also this. So that's 40%. So she would be able to pull off 140% attack up, which would vastly help her, I think, in the damage department.
I think it's a cool idea for a buff, but honestly, I'd still go with the NP upgrade.
I mean, an NP upgrade would be, but like, I hate delayed buffs. Like when they changed it on Melt, that was great. Yeah. And so, like, if they were gonna do her NP, I'd want them to change those to 3 turns for the projection.
Here's the interesting thing about Ruler Artoria, right? Like I know a guy who grailed her, and what they actually do to farm with her is that because she has the card shuffle, so they actually do card based farming a lot. Yeah. Well, I think maybe instead of being the MP upgrade, if they buff the attack up instead, that could help with the card based farming instead of just the MP. So I guess that's one plus over.
Yeah, because she also does have that card, so I think that would also feed more into it.
Card based, more like card cringe.
Is to feed more to her support thing. I did also write out change her third skill to an AOE charisma or targetable. So, maybe like if it was AoE, maybe reduce it on the other people to like 20 to 30%. But like she does, like her second skill is 50% crit up, and it resets cards and gives NP gain up. And if she could also give attack up, that would be a valid like support to come in on a later wave. Because I think that's kind of like. She has one support skill, but is otherwise selfish, even though this probably isn't meant to be support. But the fact that they made the party critical damage and party MP gain thing, now I'm like, well, might as well lean into that more and make her third like an actual charisma. But I think a 40% charisma might be too strong, so I was like, maybe for the people other than her, tune it down to like 20 or 30%.
That's certainly interesting. Like I definitely like it when they go more like for characters that are like half DPS, half support. I think it's very interesting when they go more support. Like for example, what I really wanted the Summer Abbey buff to be this year was to be more support oriented, right? So
instead, they just made her useless still.
They made her they made her a. If you're an Abby fan, right? They made her a DPS, but like I think that's fine for Abby fans. It's just like,
yeah, I would have preferred something more supportive because I do like her as a debuffer. Like having buff removal is always a good niche. Like it's nice having multiple sources of it, and she's got a lot going on still. I just feel like she should have honed in a little on the supportive aspect.
Definitely.
They could have done like an AoE buster buff, but actually if they gave AoE 30% buster, I think that might be stepping on someone else's toes.
It's fine. She doesn't have AoE charge, and also I have a suggestion for her later, so it's fine. Like
I saw that one coming.
Yeah, like
I also wrote one down for her.
Yeah, she has such a yeah.
So should
Well,
we go
I want
ahead
her to
and
be good?
So should we go ahead and go to her?
No, she's
Okay.
later in my list.
Okay, so what's next in your list?
Dioscuri, and I have two. One's a realistic one, and one is just I think haha funny for them.
Oh,
I once again another saber I've grailed that I also like to dump on a lot is Dioscuri. So Muramasa and Dioscuri are my two favorite sabers in the game, but they're also garbage. So Dioscuri has the spreadsheet problem, where on a spreadsheet they look nice, but in practice they're
turn.
absolutely terrible. So it's the second skill I would want to change, and it's the most simple thing. Just make it 3 turns. That's all you have to like, and maybe bump it up to 20% each.
I don't understand why it's 15% and it's.
I know that's so little.
It's absolutely
like, and look at their
ridiculous.
third skill. Their third skill is 20% too. Like their numbers are so low. Like I would want like maybe you could argue make these both 30, but I think 20 would be fine because then they'd have 20, 20, 20, which is I think a fine spread.
you know what I could see them putting on top of that? I could see them putting a team battery on that. I feel like that'd be pretty nice because they've got it's team damage. Like if we're gonna go 3 turns of team damage up, might as well help the team a little bit more.
Yeah, but make it through. But they just need to make this 3 turns. It is so hard to justify using them versus like a berserker or neutral damage sometimes. Like if I'm fighting lancers, Melusine with anti-lancer append is probably the better choice than Dioscuri, just for ease of use. I don't know, just because they do like their spreadsheet one, because they have that 1 turn damage. Everyone looks at them on the spreadsheet and they're like, wow, they're really high up here. And then you're like, well, they're really high up here because the spreadsheets are like, it's just those servants buffs, right? And what does Dioscuri has? Dioscuri has NP damage up, attack up, and arts up. So you're getting 3 different buff types and they're multiplying, right? It's not additive. So on their own with no other buffers, they're gonna perform better than someone who just say has 50% arts buff and that's all they have. Because they have multiplicative buffs. But the second you're in a team and you're using, like say you have Black Grail equipped and you're using double Castoria, so you're getting those attack ups, you're getting that arts up, you got your Mystic Code going. They're sad numbers are barely adding anything to these, buffs that you already have.
That's why people love attack so much in Buster looping.
Yep, that's why I was like, raise the attack up for Ruler Artoria.
Buster reload.
Oh,
Shut
sorry.
Up. Shut up. It's Buster looping. I will hunt you down if you say Buster reload again.
Oh man.
We're JP players here. We say looping like a normal person. Anyway, the second buff I would want
NP
for
buff.
them, by the way, no.
Oh.
Buff their first skill, and just give them a class change choice. Let them change to Avenger.
Oh, that's cool.
That
is interesting.
100% flavor, but I think they should do it because they already have the passives. They're already half Avenger.
Oh, dude, they have anti-ruler, don't they? Oh my god.
Wait, do they? What's their
Yeah, they have anti-ruler because of Zeus.
Yeah, they
Oh,
would crush rulers
jeez.
then. That's what I'm saying.
We also don't have a lot of these like single target.
And they have better survival
areas,
than most than most Avengers.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm like, let them change to because that first skill, I don't know, like the first skill is good with their cards, but I think adding just a class change ability like Stay Saber or change to Avenger, like for most situations, it wouldn't be, well, actually, for neutral situations, it would be a boon because you'd get a 1.1 multiplier. And against rulers, it'd be a boon. So really, unless you're fighting Lancers, it would always be better to change to Avenger. But,
Yeah.
I think that would be a cool buff, and it's
I like that
appropriate.
because it's
Yeah.
cool. I like
Yeah.
cool buffs. I like cool.
Yeah, it
buffs
gives some
over-
versatility. That also means like in some neutral class cases, like for example, if you're up against all three cavalry, not cavalry, all three knights. That means if you kill the lancer, okay, well there's an archer, so you could switch to neutral against them, so you're not just like beating your head against a wall.
Yeah.
Good night, Akame.
And that's one that I've thought for a while. I've said this probably for like 3 years, ever since I got them. Like, they should do this. And it's never happened. It's never going to happen because I don't think they're very popular. But I like them, even if they're garbage.
They're cool. I think they definitely should have gotten. And they're perma. They should have got like. I feel like perma servants should get more. I don't know.
Yeah. I like them a lot too. I maxed them out on an A because I got them in B2.
I have them. They're very good at
that
looping
reminds
rest,
me.
Even if the damage is low, it won't matter if they non-stop MP. Well, I mean, I'll let Rio take this one, I guess. But
So, non-stop NP for an art servant doesn't matter because in a challenge, if you're just looking at how many times can they use their NP, then every art servant has non-stop MP. Dioscuri was before Castoria. So Dioscuri was a servant where they were arts, but you could use them with Skadi and they would get value out of that because their quick cards generated a ton of MP on top of, the buff from Skadi and a ton of stars. So like you had 4 cards that were all good to use. You could either use all their arts cards or their NP and their quick cards, because they only have 1 Buster card. So back then, that was very useful. But once Castoria happened, every art servant, practically with a card and a functioning brain, can loop their NP if they hit that arts card. It's not difficult anymore. It's not a challenge. And so I don't think the argument of like they're good at looping, because they're single target, they're not AoE. So it always involves face cards, except for like very rare situations. So if you're using phase cards, it doesn't matter. That argument's invalid, like, because everyone can do it now, unless you're in like a restricted thing, like where you can't use any supports and they're like on their own. Yeah, they're fine there, but
yeah, I do like their NP though. Like they have ignore invuln and ignore defense, which it's always a nice combo. Like
yeah, it allows you to basically just take whatever seat you want with them.
Yeah. Yeah, and so they got a little bit of flexibility, if nothing else. Plushie,
Only
you
their
good?
MP gain was better.
yeah, I dropped my mic.
Yeah, yeah, their NP refund isn't.
Because they have a lot of hits on their MP. So if it was better,
Question.
like
I think I know the answer to this. Do you use the sisters more than the twins?
the Trunk Sisters?
Yeah.
No, I hate the Trunk Sisters. They're discount Dioscuri.
Oh,
I think they're
No.
worse than Dioscuri. because
No,
I think
there
their
you go.
mechanic of having to use cards before NP to maximize damage is a bad mechanic. I'm not
It
a
is
fan
a
of that.
horrible mechanic.
Okay.
It's a
So
horrible
I
mechanic.
The
think
reason-
they're worse.
Yeah, the
But I
reason
like
why
the
I was
feel.
asking that is because you got them in B5, right? You got more than 5 of them, didn't you?
Dioscuri?
Yeah.
the
No.
Trunk Sisters.
Yeah.
Oh, the Trash Sisters? Let me take a look.
Yeah, because they
You
were
do,
on.
because you're pulling for Lancer Melt. No,
Yeah,
was it Lancer Melt?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people had some shit luck with that banner because I got.
I hit pity.
Oh jeez.
My Trash Sisters are, by the way, their skills are 115 and they're
Damn.
MP3. I didn't
Oh,
actually
never
get screwed
mind.
over. I got my
Oh.
melts pretty easily.
Yeah,
Uh,
there was some other streamer that pulled like NP5 before they got like 2 melts.
No,
So-
my MP5 sabers are Charlemagne, who I have MP10, Okida, MP5, Muramasa MP5, Dioscuri MP7, Astolfo MP5, and Saber MP8.
Oh. Oh damn.
I almost
remember that.
grailed a Saber Astolfo. So he had a raid up like right before the Lost Belt 5. And I was like, I don't have a grailed Saber, and I'm like, and I have an MP4, and I'm like, I have like 1 pack left. If I get him, I'll grail him to 100. Didn't get him, and I'm like, well, screw you, screw you, Astolfo, and didn't grail him. And then Dioscuri comes out, and I got him NP5 and 250 Saint Quartz, and I'm like, I guess I'm grailing these ones now.
One of my biggest regrets is grailing Saber Astolfo.
Oh, someone asked if I hate Muramasa. No, I love Muramasa, but he's absolutely garbage.
Yeah,
Like-
he grilled him to 100. Like you have to understand
Oh
here.
no.
Like I feel like the
he
more
came
like,
back.
like after people grill their servants, then they use them a lot. It's easier for them to see their flaw,
Yeah.
right? It's that's just how it is, right? And like like for example, if you didn't grill them, you could be like, oh, it's because mine is MP1 or it's because mine is level 90. But for someone like his Muramasa, he has no excuse, right? His Muramasa has no excuse when they underperform. So like that's just how it is, right?
Yeah, so like when I'm going through and I'm like, I have a node and I throw Muramasa at it and he just can't do the damage. And then I have my Okita altar sitting over there in the corner and I pick them and they do it without issue. Like it's very telling because one's grilled and one's not.
Why exactly do you regret grilling Saber Soul? Because I don't use her. I'd rather put the grills in him. Fuck.
Him, you did it
Oh
again.
no.
Oh, I did it again.
Oh no.
I'm not gay. All right, look,
But you would do it, right?
I do it. I mean,
What?
I let him do it.
oh.
I mean... no. Look,
So what's your fifth buff?
That was the fifth. We're on to my sixth
Oh.
now.
Oh. Wow, I'm
yeah,
not
we
used to
went-
the speed we're picking up here. Hey, Mythic.
My next one was Miu, another
Oh.
servant I've grailed that I call garbage.
oh my god,
Oh,
I
dang.
forgot. Yeah, that was a big meme.
So I have Miu. For everyone who doesn't know, I do have a Miu that is grailed. She's absolutely trash. So what I would do, and this would need 2 buffs, is to make her first skill one, not 3 attacks, 3 turns for the crit up, make it 3 turns and change it to targetable. And on the second skill, make it targetable as well and maybe give it like an MP damage up.
I think making skill 1 targetable would be very, very good. It's like
Yeah.
kind of what she's.
Yeah, I like that idea. Honestly, these days, like the most effective use I see of her is like soloing, because she can put out some like crazy damage in a solo, but
Can she? I've tried soloing with her and she kind of just dies.
What?
mean-
I remember that. What were we doing?
I mean, she
We
gets
did that in VC, I
HP,
forgot what we were doing.
like she gets
It's just
HP
cool.
regen every turn. Like if you get in 3 NPs in a row, she gets like 6k per turn. And then like at that point she's getting, how much is it? Up to 180% attack. So her extra attack is actually kind of nuts.
Here's what I think they should do, right? It's not even a buff, a mechanical change. They should make her MP be able to work with Summer Bob when she. It's really stupid. that
that's
it
true.
doesn't. It's very stupid
Because-
that it doesn't.
Yeah.
The Satsuki buff is just on her and it's
Yeah.
like something that triggers differently.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
that's
it's not an
that's
end
annoying.
of turn buff, so it's like it does not synergize with her.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of small changes instead of one big change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like imagine the like I feel like her most memorable part is her attack up that ramps up the attack up.
yeah.
Like she gains attack up every turn, and the attack up she gets every turn also ramps up. So it's like a double layer ramp up. And I feel like if you can double the duration of that, that's not double. Like you get increased the duration of that could potentially be very valuable, but you can't.
But Bowens doesn't increase that. Like if they separated the effects,
Yeah.
like into like 3 separate effects, like heal, stars, and attack, and an attack refresh, the attack wouldn't get extended. Just the thing. But on the other hand,
true.
the MP charge would, which means eventually you would have a situation where Miu is using her NP every turn, and so you're like permanently at like 4 of them going off at a time, so it's like plus 80% every turn for that. Wait, yeah, no. If you had 2 Baobans and Miu able to use their MP every turn, and it's for 3 turns, so on the 3rd turn, you'd have like 4 of those going off. Yeah, no, that'd be a lot. So maybe that's why they didn't include that in there.
Really, they future-proofed this far.
They're like, they don't want Mew. They're like, these Mew fans, a bunch of weirdos. They like, gotta keep these guys in check.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you got to get her MP5 to be usable at all, which was another suffering thing. It took me
dude, it was so bad before, dude. Like you had to have her MP5 to make
HP.
Yeah,
like
if she was
neutral.
Yeah, like if you wanted to break even, you had to NP5 her because you get 3 HP regen, like 3k, and but the funny thing is, like if she NP'd more often, she ended up kind of in debt on healing. Like she kept getting lower and lower.
They should just let her kill herself.
Is you had to have the heal up CC on her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And every 3 turns you would gain a little bit of HP back, but then she gets like poked by an enemy and it's all gone. All your gains are gone.
That's so bad.
Yeah. See, the problem with that though is that heal boost command code is worse with her because it only heals 3 times. Like if you NP 3 times, you heal 3 times instead of having it all apply at once.
Oh yeah, it only works once.
Yeah, because HP regen that all stacks and applies at once.
But if you're solo, yeah, never mind. Yes.
Yeah, but hey, like now you get 3k for one of those, so it's more viable.
Yeah, I still think she's.
I don't know. Maybe
as a support, I think they should make her skills targetable.
Yeah, like this one, like I feel like the best thing about this is it helps her NP gain a little bit because I don't feel like the crit is really that worth it.
It's also 3 attacks. 3 turns.
Yeah.
So like, it's not even that high of a crit damage.
See, if they made this targetable, if they made this targetable, they could have made her work with Muramasa with the arts crit, the missed opportunity.
See, it all comes together.
It all comes together, baby.
Dude. Oh. All right. Who next?
My next one was Koyan of Darkness. Which is the buff that I'm sure is the most obvious buff. I just want them to add on skill 2 a 20%.
Oh, hold on. Let me get her out here.
That's
so
actually
people know
the
who
same
I'm talking
buff
about.
I had for
Who you're talking.
Because it's the only one that makes sense.
I mean, my buff had an extra line, which is give the target animal trait.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, you could also just remove the animal trait requirements.
That's so stupid.
Oh, I feel like it'd be a bit too strong if you just removed the entire requirement for that. But what I
just make it one target, right?
Dude, they need to like just fix the trait. Like there are so many servants with animal characteristics that just don't count. Like why is
pull up the animal characteristic servants? Let's take a look at that.
She's very high, yeah. I don't
like,
know.
Why does Bunyan wearing a rabbit costume count, but Sheba, who has the ears of a cat, the horns of a ram, and then the tail of a horse, she doesn't count? Why doesn't she count?
None of the Nidocris counts, I think. Right?
Yeah.
There was like some of the new wasn't there some of the summer servants this year that don't count?
Canis doesn't count.
Like Suzuka doesn't count. Suzuka's wearing I know Suzuka's not actually a fox girl, but she dresses like one. So if Bunyan can put on a pair of ears and get the animal characteristics buff, why can't Suzuka? I hate Suzuka as much as the next guy, as we all should.
Hold on.
Whoa.
Hey, I was nice enough to invite you onto this podcast,
You're
sir.
pissing on the wrong territory, man. Also,
hey.
That's why I said it, because I know it's gonna set him off. I actually don't hate Suzuka.
Look at the one summer servant this year who did
Chloe.
get it, yeah, look at that.
Chloe also wears animal ears and doesn't get the buff.
I guess she's like cosplaying as Cat, so like
look at that.
whatever.
Wait, she does?
Yeah, she does.
Wait, why does she get the buff but not Suzuka? Hold on, this is actually just
because she dresses
Suzuka
up
discrimination.
as Kama Cat. Yeah. And somehow
I think
Kiara
Suzuka
counts.
Should be on this list.
Why does Kiara
Definitely.
third ascension count? It's like a fish.
Yeah, she's got a fish tail.
Yeah, but like the fish are not animals.
What?
I mean,
what? Wait.
Fish isn't meat.
Hold on.
I think vegans should be able to eat fish. No,
fucking
okay.
Pescatarian. Oh my god, it is so fucking funny. This is like so off topic, but yesterday I heard someone call a pescatarian an Episcopalian. And
what is a pescatarian?
Pescatarians are people who the only meat they eat is fish. Episcopalians is a denomination of Baptists.
Oh,
So it's a religion.
Slightly different,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
but you can be both. I think.
Yeah, groups might overlap.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah. Dude, this is just it's so
I have
bullshit.
to change my buff for Koyan of Dark then. Hold on.
I have
Wait, why? Just because I stole it?
No, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll just mention it here as well. I think it's fine. I think what the buff should be is like it gives the target the animal trait and then gives animal trait 20 MP charge. So it gives it to herself and it gives it to another guy.
I like the idea of having this targeted cooldown reduction. That way you wouldn't have to reduce this, which would I don't know.
That would be also really good,
Yeah.
and that would work perfectly with Tonalico. She'd be like,
Yeah.
she'd be the one button that would allow Tonalico to use her skill.
Oh my god, Edison
50%
power creep.
charge, and if she was 50% charge, then I could just run 2 of her and like have the skill off immediately, and you know,
Yeah.
it'd be fine. I just want to use Tonalico.
I'm
with
tired of
Flag
her.
Grabber,
I'm
Surprising Wedding.
tired of your waifu and her constant racism. Okay.
What do you mean?
Look, no,
Wait,
it
what?
means Koyan Dark because she doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, my favorite characters don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, she's.
I mean,
I think this skill definitely they're scared of the compound effects and because it's AOE so they made the cooldown 7. But honestly, personally, I think because of the restriction, the cooldown did not have to be 7. Like look at Summer Bavanshi's skill 1. It's AOE 20% attack up, 20% defense up. It's 10% less on each, but it's no condition, and the bonus effect is extend the thing, right? Like
A really strong effect.
Yeah, so and that's also 7-turn cooldown. So like I don't think this is particularly powerful as an SSR skill. I think the cooldown definitely should have been 6.
I kind of wish they just got rid of the the on attack thing, because I think that's kind of neat, but I feel like it's misplaced here.
It's pointless. I think it's almost pointless. It's almost like I never notice it. Like even when I'm using her as the crit DPS, when I use her Buster cards to like attack every turn, I don't feel it.
I mean, you say that, but if you're doing that's 15 stars for a Buster Brave Chain, you might actually it does actually make a difference in the end if you're doing.
I can't do a Buster Brave Chain.
Yeah, it doesn't apply
I can't
to
do
the
it. She has
NP.
2 Buster cards.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh, you mean put it on
Buster
someone else?
NP.
But the Buster MP doesn't apply to it. It doesn't apply.
Oh, it doesn't affect it? Oh,
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it should have been 10 stars, honestly. Like, if you're doing... She only has 2 Buster cards. Unless you're in a solo, you're only gonna get 10 stars out of this.
I just feel like it can have like either you can go more support, so like the cooldown doesn't matter, but it helps with farming, or it can go down with cooldown and make her the target DPS. But like I think it might be even more interesting if it was a farming support or something for more.
Yeah, like dude, it's kind of funny. Like if she had targeted cooldown reduction, there would be some instances where you could use her instead of a second light Vich.
And you can use her instead of Ibuki for Arcoade. I don't know why you would do that. It's like the same thing, but it's a slightly higher number. Is it even higher number?
Arc in these days.
I mean, people who like Arcoade.
Yeah, see, the funny thing is like the funny thing is like if you're gonna use Summer Ibuki to support Arc, then why not just use Summer Ibuki? Like you have her.
I don't want to. I use Summer Ibuki. I rolled an esports Summer Ibuki just so I can use her with Tonalico and other servants.
Yeah, but
I'm never gonna use her as a DPS.
You're just gonna like use Melusine anyways.
That's true. That's true. I'm also gonna use just Summer Melusine. Look, I will do everything possible to not ever use Arjuna Altar, Gilgamesh, and Ibuki. Those are the 3 servants I have made it my mission to never use.
The 3 most overrated.
I'm a hipster.
AOE. Yeah, the 3. Okay, look. You know what? I honestly like to add Lancer Melusine to that list, but you know. No. She's definitely on that list, bro.
No, Lancer Melusine's fair and balanced.
Yeah. Right. Anyways.
Sorry, I was chewing on something.
Oh,
yeah, fine. I didn't eat until like in pre-stream, so
Oh,
What is
I had
the
taquito.
I had
Yeah.
like this tuna casserole stuff. We call it tuna stuff. I haven't had it in a really long time, but home cooking's always nice. It's better than fucking frozen food. Anyways, so what's number 7?
No, this is number 9.
Alright.
This is the last one on my list of at least
No,
ones that
no,
I've
no,
written
no,
out
no.
thoughts.
You're fucking with me.
No.
No.
USH, Muramasa, Jeanne, Ruler Artoria, Dioscuri, Miyu, Koyan, and Tamamo. That is. Wait, is that 8?
no.
That's 8. Never mind.
Yeah,
It's 8.
yeah. Like, man,
Sorry.
I
trying to
also have
gaslight me
Tamamo.
by accident.
I also have Tamamo on my list, so yeah, that'll
So
be
for
interesting.
Tamamo, is it the second skill?
Oh, so we're going for.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go to Tamamo.
I keep
Of
I keep
course.
clicking the comments instead of
You
search.
may have noticed like half of these are supports that I've
Yeah.
asked that I
Yeah,
want buffs on.
I'd
or
imagine
to
they're-
make them more supporty.
Because
Yeah.
it affects more people, right?
It's
Yeah.
more
Like,
useful.
I
Yeah, like if you make a servant like a good supporter, like the Junako buff to like make her anti-lawful, like gave her a use because before she was useless.
Like a
Once again,
solo-
she was in that tank archetype, which is a terrible archetype. But now she has a value somewhere, and that is anti-lawful damage, and a lot of other stuff.
like for example, if this year like Tomo got a buff instead of Anastasia, by proxy Anastasia would also kind of got a. You know what I mean? It's not exactly how it is, but
That's a
it's
good
like
one.
Yeah.
I really like buffs that affects multiple servants instead of just themselves.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah, because ultimately those are going to be more impactful. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so
what I
second
would
skill,
say-
obviously.
Yeah, second skill.
Yeah.
Because that's the other two are fine. So second skill is bad. You don't really use it ever, for the most part. What
I
I
mean, it
would
isn't
say
small,
is
yeah.
that there's 2 variations I had on that. Well, a couple variations. It needs to be targetable, but whether or not the defense changes to the target or not, that I wouldn't really be care about. Like she
Mhm.
could keep the defense up on herself when using it and the other effects go to the target, or everything could go to the target. But I would say give her like a CDR of 1 on the target and make it either an attack up or a charge. Like so a CDR of 1 and either attack up or charge for the target.
So
I would
just
prefer 30% charge because I think 20% charges are almost useless.
so you mean make her second skill a small version of her NP?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. She,
Why not?
Yeah, she would literally
Because
be. Yeah, she would literally have all the same effects as her NP because she has an HP on her third skill.
Yeah, so like her NP is in the current use case, I think kind of bad. Like it's not enough, I don't think. Like because you have to use it afterwards, which means you can't use it for farming.
I think it's slow. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's
that's
slow.
the point
she
for
fits. Yeah, she fits more of a slow comp. Like, I don't really see her being that great for farming, regardless, because we just have so many options for arts farming as is. I don't think. I mean, like maybe having her as another alternative would be nice, but like, borrow a Castoria, use your own Jufu or Paracelsus or Bride or Asclepius. You have so many options these days. I feel like having her more so focus on something as outside of farming. I like that idea.
I mean,
more.
the buff he mentioned though would also benefit her
Yeah.
her stall
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's like a loopable
Yeah.
like it's a loopable cooldown reduction that is able to be affected by cooldown reduction. Which
Okay.
is more interesting than what I came up with.
So you know what's funny though? Like if you do that, you can like easily double up on her second skill if you're soloing with her, because she actually can kind of solo.
Yeah, and that would just increase her defense to but like that's not broken because Osaka Behime can get like 100% defense and keep that up forever and like never take damage. So like, Tamamo would be harder to pull off than
the
that.
JP channel called Let's Build the Himeji Castle together. It's on YouTube. It's like a Japanese channel that he solos everything with.
Oh, you said JP channel, and I was like, why are you talking about like in the
no, not
the
this
server?
Not
yeah.
the...
Yeah. Makes a bit more sense. Okay. What was your idea again, Plushy?
Oh, okay. So I also have two versions. The first idea is just give her second skill self 100% battery. Like I don't care.
Oh no, nah,
The-
nah,
I don't
nah.
care. The second change is arguably worse. I think her MP's cooldown reduction should be 2.
Oh no, dude,
I
no.
don't care. I don't.
No,
I
I don't disagree with that. I think Vitch having 2 cooldown reduction and doubling up on that as 4. I think changing this to 2 would be better. But
It's look like
Nah,
all
dude,
I care about
nah.
with this character right now, as of now, currently, is how she works with the Bob team, and all I care about is to have her work better
but
with
she-
that team.
But
wait,
she already
so-
works with that team.
So why
It's
is
not
me
good enough.
saying cooldown reduction on the skill and then she having her MP, so she still has 2 cooldown reduction, any different from 2 cooldown reduction in just the MP? It's
No,
the same.
Well, the thing
reduction.
is, the NP
that's why I
affects
said your is
the
yeah,
N-
the MP
the NP
seem higher.
affects everyone, and the skill you can only use once however many turns.
That's what I
Yeah,
think is
just-
more interesting about yours. It's like a more elegant way of changing it.
Oh.
But
Yeah, oh, dude, I'm sorry, I just interrupted you.
me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. Like the thing is, right? Why are you scared of a stall team that is not solemn spam? Give me one reason to be scared of a stall team that isn't solemn spam.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a single reason. So I think it's okay to go absolute haywire when they go with this stuff. Like this game is so scared of cooldown reduction. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it would just ruin. Maybe that
feel
maybe
like-
she slots into solemn spam and then just
I
ruins
feel
everything
like
even more.
maybe-
But I don't know.
Okay. Do we? Okay. Okay.
Alright.
There's like a couple things I want to say. I'm just like
Alright.
struggling to pick which one to say. I feel like giving her team cooldown reduction, I feel like she'll just have too many universal uses because of that. Because that affects anyone. And there's like a lot of, and the fact that you can use it multiple times, like 4 turns of cooldown reduction. I know Double Vitch is able to do that, but that's on
Yeah.
2 skills that you can't use for most of the fight, if any of the fight. You can
That's
only use
also
them
on 2
once.
skills that comes with 50 batteries that can immediately proc instead of having to MP.
Yeah, but this gives 75% battery. It gives 25% to everyone else. You're probably going to overcharge this. This is going to help you NP more often. Like, this NP is... She has a gauge that is at most 75%.
Yes.
And, yeah, it's too easy to spam this for that to be justifiable, I would say.
I guess because my goal with my buff with Tamamo is not to make her buff. My goal to make with this Tamamo buff is to make her go infinite. I think it's fine to make her go infinite, which is
I think it's
which
fine
is
too.
which is my
But-
hot take. But obviously, it's
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to say, I'm not saying she would, but do we need another Castoria? Like,
No, but
Castoria
that's-
is,
the-
yeah. Like, I'm
Castoria,
not saying this is
different from
yeah,
Castoria.
yeah, obviously, yeah. I know it's kind of weird to link that to this, but I feel like there's a certain level of pushing value that we have to just stop for a second, because like Castoria is so stupid, but I feel like we shouldn't try to be pushing stupid that far, because like we still have a lot of things that aren't as stupid as Castoria, but they're completely viable. Like it's
I think
like no one's advocating for a Vitch
No,
buff, and Vitch
I
is
know,
nowhere near on
but-
par with Castoria.
I know, but I just feel like nobody like I think slow teams are really whatever right now. Like people could be
I don't
more.
I don't feel like they ever really
Different.
fell off. It's just they're so boring for people that like, because like Merlin and Mash still works really well in a lot of cases. It's just
Yeah.
god awful
I suppose.
boring.
I think that's why the Baban team is more interesting because
Yeah,
it's you're using your MP every turn. It's just kind of more fun to watch happen
yeah.
because there's something. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm just pushing propaganda for that team, anyways. I'm
Yeah.
not actually. Being serious
You know
with
what?
this one.
I kind of want to push propaganda for it too.
This is-
I think
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's funny.
You're welcome, guys. I thought up the idea.
But like,
Yeah,
I
and I stole it.
understand
You got
it.
any other ideas I can steal from you and then not credit?
Oh yeah, how about using Pope Joan to start it? Oh wait.
Oh,
Yeah,
I stole that one.
Here's I don't know, like because why I made the why my idea, like the first idea was to just let her MP immediately. The second idea was to allow her to like sort of start the engine. I mean, the engine becomes like stronger. Well, I just feel like I agree with what you said earlier. I think there's like no point in trying to give her farming viability almost. Like unless targetable cooldown reduction
Yeah.
has special interaction with like specific servants. Yeah, of course. That is the one thing Castoria cannot give. But I just feel like, you know, because of how arts looping works, because of how everything works right now, there's almost no point in trying to make her a farmer. Like I've seen so many buff ideas where it's like, oh, just give her a second skill targetable 50% battery. Like so what it does, it's literally just make arts loopers that have superb refund might not need Castoria as refund to use her instead, and should be a little bit different. So I think that's not interesting, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't need to keep making the same support, basically.
Yeah, we don't
And
need to make
I-
the same support.
I
We don't need
do.
to make
I
Art
already like
Skadi.
that she offers something so different from everyone else. Like no one else has team skill cooldown reduction on an NP. Because like
Yeah,
I mean,
Well,
Vargas
she's
has
also
like Vargas has it on her second skill,
So-
but that's not for
Oh,
herself.
you mean Archer Vargas?
Yeah,
Oh,
Archer
yeah,
Vargas.
But she also is the one with MP damage. So there are like 99% of the time, Proto Merlin is better than Tamamo.
Yeah.
But in situations where you like don't have any other source of MP damage up, and
you're using
you're not
Oberon.
running Black Grail, Tamamo can eke out ahead. And if the servant doesn't get much from overcharge, then Tamamo can, and you don't need the 20% battery. So there's a lot of conditionals here.
Yeah.
But like for example, I farmed the stupid QP node on Bleached Earth with a 6 slot, and with Proto Merlin it just barely falls short on wave 2, but with Tamamo it's just barely enough to get me through there. So it's like stuff like that, like, but like 99% of the time you're just using Proto Merlin. So I'd like to see, that's why I want Tamamo buff, because she's just not very useful in most places. And I see people talking about Quick in there. The problem is there's only really there's a lot of arts supports. There's only 2 real Quick supports. And I think because I wrote down something for Skadi, but I think if you mess with either of the Skadis, they become too good. You can't really buff the Skadis. They need to make a separate Quick support that works once again with the Skadis in order to like do it, because like what I wrote down for Skadis, I'm like, because the only plausible change for Skadi is to make her skill 2 also a 20% AoE battery, but then she's a 70% charger, and that's a problem, I think, because
I mean, I have a buff that's similar to that, but I guess we can.
I know what that buff is.
what is the buff?
It's-
Let's go to Skadi then. Let's look at Skadi then.
I changed it up
yeah.
a little bit,
Okay.
like from my previous version that I'd really like to throw around. But like, okay, so the previous version was give her just make her skill 3 a mirror battery. So it not just gives the target 50, it gives herself 50.
Yeah.
But obviously the other way to it's not an interesting idea at all. The other way to buff is just to make it Tez's battery, where she gives one target 50 and the other 2 targets 30, right? So I think maybe that could work, because like her battery, 50 batteries is a good skill, but without anything, like we don't really see that anymore. It's just 50 battery without additional effects. I think it's possible. I also don't think Skadi's MP is bad, by the way. I think
Oh, yeah.
Scotty's
It's
MP's
good. It's very
problem
good.
is
Yeah.
you can't get it. You literally
Yeah.
can't. You have no way of
Yeah.
getting to her MP.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
just how her first skill works. You're spamming quick cards of the DPS. You're not spamming any arts cards, so she doesn't have a reason to use her cards.
Yeah.
So actually, you saying that with her third skill just made me think of, because it reminded me of The one of the quick servants I use a lot is Daikokuten, right?
Yeah.
If they buffed her third skill to also apply an MP regen to the party,
That'd be
that
interesting as well.
Oh,
would
geez.
help. Like a 10, even just 10%, I think would make up the gap a lot of quick servants have.
That is also very interesting.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit more elegant than just slapping Tez.
Than just slapping charge, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like an MP recharge, even just 10%, that's 20% extra over 2 turns. Because like the reason like Daikokuten loops so well is because they always come up like at like 40% or something like against berserkers, it's like 40%, and then boom, back up to 50. You know, with that 10% regen, like it cleans it up. Having that extra little bit of regen helps.
It's
And that
almost
would
like adding
also-
refund to it, right? It's like
Yeah, and that would also make like taking 2 different types of Skadis, because what I would prefer is to use both Skadis and not just double of one. I don't want one to be like
straight
the
up better. than the other.
straight up
Yeah.
better. I want you to have a reason to take both and not like triple Skadi, because I don't want to use swap because I'm lazy. So like I think that would be a more elegant
Yeah, that'd be
change
interesting.
there.
That would allow maybe if you have Skadi's a pen, that will allow her to MP on the 3rd turn as well for damage, like some
That is
Castoria
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I just like the idea of like giving herself 30%, or maybe you could go all the way up to just 50% self battery. Because
I just want people to use her MP, because I had to like argue this with people like endless, like her MP's not bad. Her MP's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just you don't, people don't use it. People literally don't use it, and they just assume her MP is like 20% attack up. But it's
what
not.
they don't realize is it's like if you have
50 to-
MP5,
50
it's
to
5
100%.
turns of 30% attack up, and then now the crit one kind of sucks because it's only 3 attacks. But
I don't know. Still 100% crit is a
I mean,
lot.
yeah,
it's only,
you did
it's only
use
three
MP5.
three
Yeah.
hits.
Yeah,
like,
but like that's 1 turn of crits. Like 1 turn,
like, it's
100%
5
targetable.
turns. So like in fights that are like for challenge quest fights that are more than 3 turns, it's one of the few buffs that's gonna linger the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her defense isn't bad. Like people use Castoria at overcharge 1 all the time in like non super hard content. Like right, like casually just block an MP. It's good effect, right? Like this is essentially the same unless the enemy has sure hit or invul pierce, and it even has a damage cut to come with it. So like it's yeah. So like I don't. It's not a bad MP. It's not a bad MP by any.
You know the funny thing is, her MP has a lot of overlap with Waver, because he has damage cut, she has attack,
Waver skill,
and
yeah.
crit. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but
It is just that Castoria can use her MP. So like, yeah, if she had a way to use her MP, because the reason Castoria's MP is good for like even in farming, because like you'll see team comps where like, and even I in 90++ use Castoria's NP all the time, for that boost in damage there, or for overcharge, because it's easily accessible. If Skadi was like that, I guarantee you people would use it, because 20% attack up is 20% attack up even at MP1, like, and an overcharge effect that may help other servants. Like, I don't know, I do think she just needs some easier way to access her NP, because I don't think her NP needs another buff. I think buffing it and adding the attack up was all that it needed.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
a good
effect was
NP.
great.
It's
Yeah,
just
the effect was
people don't know that you can use it, I guess.
Yeah, it
Yeah, 'cause,
even
like-
lasts for 3 turns.
Yeah, like if you buff the NP,
5
okay,
turns,
so we still have the same problem. How is she gonna NP?
Yeah, like even if you give her MP another, like a lot of people suggest giving her MP the Castoria, the most like
Where it
non
stacks the
Yeah.
evades per
yeah,
Yeah,
the most
that's-
uninspired buff. which
Yeah,
is-
that's just so dumb.
Like, she has a bunch of other stuff, because like the reason why it's 1 attack, like she has the insta kill immunity, which is niche, but it works out. She has damage cut, critical attack, like she has enough effects. She doesn't need to be a carbon copy of Castoria's NP.
Yeah, and it still wouldn't save her in like people assume like
Still
if
couldn't
they
use
made
it.
that change. Yeah, if they assume like if
How would
if
you use it?
they
Run a
make this
K scope on her?
Yeah. So like it's just and it's not accessible in a stall team either, because one, you're running a quick team, so you're not gonna be able to chain like Art's MP into like Art's chains easy like Castoria, and 2, she doesn't have any AoE charge. So like how are you gonna access that? So yeah, it's just Turkish.
Yeah. I feel like she has some kind of clear-cut issues that a lot of people don't quite understand. You know, this is kind of tangential, and it does feed into discussion of her. I know people would hate it, but I want a quick servant with an art stick.
Why?
First off, it's the only combination we haven't gotten so far. Second off, like, I've seen some of the positives of, like, having multiple arts cards on a quick NP, because normally you want the 2 buster cards for damage, but, like, for Summer Suzuka, for example, like, if you have good arts cards, they spam so easy. Like, and I guess, like, there is the quick cards you could be managing with, but I just like the idea. And it would also be better in, like, a slower team, because, like, you could run something like Skadi, and then you use the quick buff to boost their NP damage, and then on the next turn, you got a bunch of stars, and you can just, like, Arts Chain.
Well, I don't think you'd need an arts deck for that. I think an arts deck would be bad, but I have thought about, I'm like, there should be, you know, a quick servant with double arts, double buster would be better than, because, like, quick chain.
That's interesting
quick
too.
Chain is pointless. Quick chain doesn't matter. You're never going to do that. Double arts, double buster would make mighty chains easier to use, and mighty chains are already the best on quick servants, and so it just makes that a little bit easier to do.
That's a really funny idea, though. Like mixing up the so you can't do one card chain with them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they couldn't do any card chain, but like that's not like the first time. Wait, has that ever? Yeah, no, that's happened before.
No, it has never happened before.
It can happen with Spishtar if you're dumb enough to use her quick one.
Quick, yeah. I actually have a buff for her, so.
Oh.
I think we should hurry up a little bit though, because we do. Normally,
sorry,
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Like we're here to entertain, and I think we're doing stuff here. We're discussing stuff. It's just like we actually have a hard cap now, because I have to be mindful of someone else's bedtime. Which is 8 p.m., so a little under 2 hours. So we still got a good amount of time. So who is next?
I mean, I had one more.
Yeah. Who is next?
And this one was once again a grail of mine. MIXA, another piece of garbage servant. One of the worst welfares in the game is MIXA. And it's very simple. I don't think this needs to be talked about a lot. Just change her first skill from 3 hits to 3 turns.
Dang.
Wow. That's a lot of buffs that I would just like, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad because if you use this is terrible. Like, because if you end up accidentally using a face card, like when I'm doing like challenge quest stuff with her or trying to, I have to avoid the quick card because I don't want my MP to lose damage. So it's so bad. She's terrible. There's other problems with her. Like, well, I also wrote down add NP generation of 20 to 30% for 3 turns on it, because that would also help her.
Yeah, they'd add a battery to it.
No, don't.
They would definitely do that, though.
Just give her MP generation up, because a battery, like they do like a 20% battery, which would fix nothing because you're dealing with Skadi, which is 50%, and a Pen 2 is 20%, so you're still then 10% short. So it then does 20% batteries do nothing. Like, so no, I'm like, just give her MP gain up on that and make it 3 turns. That's all I wrote down, and that's just a kind of a wish thing, just because I have Mixa grailed. Yeah. I have all the MHXs grailed. And they're all functional except for this one.
You know what? I didn't realize this, but she has a really good extra attack, doesn't she? Because it's like 4.5%. I mean, not damage wise, but like gain wise, she has a really good extra attack.
Oh yeah, her MP gain is like fine. Her MP just barely hits anything. Yeah,
it's just thinking out loud. That's all. Okay, that one was really simple. So. Thank you for sharing your ideas for buffs.
And that's all of them. The document, each one was written out, and each one got shorter as it went along until Mix was at the very end, and just like
Make it 3
trash
turns
servant
from,
fixed first skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess you actually like wrote out a lot of them. I guess okay. So I have like a list of. I have 9 of them. I just realized that I have 9 of them. And I only have, like, okay, I want this skill buffed. I want that skill buffed. I want that NP buffed. But the thing is, like, I've like, thought of a lot of these ahead of time, so I think I could still articulate these fairly well. So, Plushie, I'm assuming you're still fine with going last?
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Okay. So the first one, you guys have heard me advocate for this a lot, or at least something sort of like it. So immediately Shuten. So obviously she needs a buff because we have Tez, which it's so unfair. The two of them existing on the same server, the same game. So I either want her first skill or her second skill buffed, and I think it'd be too much to ask for this effect on her second skill because it's a 5-turn cooldown. But like if it was on this skill, then I would change this NP damage thing to be like for all demonic allies. But what I want team NP regen of 20% for 3 turns. That's the same thing that that Pope Joan has. Except, like, it has more effects on her first skill, but, like, 7-turn cooldown, like, I feel like that's fair, because her NP gain is not that great, her refund is non-existent.
I think Pope Jones still 3 cooldowns too long.
Sure.
Can I propose a buff that would be better than that?
You look at her NP. Yeah, you're gonna say the
so
NP.
that each one of those debuffs is actually a hit.
Oh, jeez. Dude,
yeah, then it's a 6-hit NP.
Yeah, that would be too much. that would be.
No, like she has like, I mean, does she really have anything else going on? Like it doesn't matter if it's too much. Tez exists.
Yeah,
she has an upgraded MP.
Yeah,
no,
I do feel like the NP upgrade does kind of help.
Oh wait,
her.
She has way more effects on. Never mind. How many hits would that be then?
That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's a few too many hits.
Yeah.
With a 0.55 MP gain.
Yeah.
With maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, over 10%. That's the best refund anyone has. Like, oh, jeez. That'd be a little.
But it looks like it should be multi-hit. I don't know. Like.
Yeah, it does look like
it. It annoys me when it does that. Yeah.
I mean, if they made it like a 3-hit, I'd be fine with that. But the thing is, like, if you made it so she had like 20% regen for herself, it's really good because like you could look at farming. She could probably double Castoria with the 50% CE. I've thought it out. She can't quite Black Grail with Oberon because like yeah, fun fact, you can actually 3-turn with her. It's kind of specific on the nodes because you have to get 10% refund. But you can use double Castoria with a 50% charger with K-Scope, or you can use a 50% CE with Oberon. It's very close, and sometimes like classes can mess it up, but yeah, it's a thing she can do. And it would give her more flexibility, and it would make it so she can help the team out more as well. And also, multi-core would be really nice, like plus 40% by turn 3.
I like that idea quite a bit actually because I like dot teams. I think dot teams are fun.
Oh, that would be so good.
And I think that would like. A lot of the times you're running double Shuten for like poison teams.
Oh
right?
yeah, dude, plus 40% per turn.
Yeah, when you're doing that, you're helping that composition like a lot, right? Like because it's you're just spamming your MP, and then, like when you're doing double Shuten, a lot of times you don't get to actually MP very often, right? So I think this definitely helps.
I do want to say in multi-core, I don't think most AoEs aren't NPing all waves, so I don't
Yeah.
think it'd be as
Well-
impactful
Well,
in multi-core.
I mean,
Well-
it'd be 60 AOE.
Yeah.
No, 40 AOE.
yeah, it would be 40
On the
AoE
first
by
turn.
turn 3. It would be a 50% battery for herself on turn 2. It would be 70% on turn 3. And it'd be a little bit of something. She wouldn't be as reliant on other people to charge herself. Yeah, I like it a lot. I also like being able to increase the NP damage here. I feel like this should have been just demonic allies get 30% NP damage. I feel like that's how it always should have been, but yeah, that was...
Oh, instead of being selfish?
Yeah, because it's literally demonic nature of Oni. It's charisma, but you get your own, like, NP damage.
How many demonic servants are there?
Oh, there's
Quite a bit.
Yeah,
Quite
there's
a
a pretty good amount.
There's a lot of like weird, like Vich is demonic. You know,
Melt is
Babanshi
Melt Lance
is
is demonic.
Yeah,
a
like
lot of them...
I don't know why that is.
Yeah, a lot of them are assassins, too. So that would enhance the synergy there, because she's also an assassin.
Oh wow, a lot of our quick 30%ers. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Anyways, I have a feeling that you guys won't have as much to say about these, because these are ones I use more often. And I don't think we have a lot of overlap on servants we use all the time. Anyways.
Other than
Yeah, I mean, like, there's the generic 5-star supports, of course. I just like
I mean,
using weird servants.
half the stuff I mentioned I have grails on, so I don't know if that's not biased. I don't know what is. Come on.
I mean, yeah, but to be fair, like, half of mine are grails. Just ones I really want. So this one, I'm sure no one saw this one coming at all. Queen of Sheba, NP buff. Anyways, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So
I don't think that's unreasonable.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'd be fine with them increasing these effects to 20%, and I want stars per turn. I think stars per turn makes a lot of sense on her NP, and like, she has stuff for critting in her kit, and she has 10 stars. That's it.
How many stars per turn would you think? Because I was thinking,
They could go.
I've thought about this before, and I thought instead of regen, just like another star dump, just so like every time she uses it the next turn, she can.
That
build
is
up
true.
again.
But I feel like stars per turn is a little... It rewards you more
Consistent.
if you're looping. Because... And then, like, she...
compound.
Yeah, like...
I mean,
It
Sorry.
also helps in case you have bad card RNG. And, like, sometimes you'll have bad card RNG, and, like, you use this to enhance the NP, and then the stars get wasted.
I mean, yeah, like
Honestly, the reason why is because if you put her out in solo, if you get 30 stars per turn, she will not stop NPing. Her NP gain is really good.
Well, I would also want to see a star gather up because she's a caster. So like you could stick that on a regen, star regen, and star gather up on the MP.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, you could. I feel like that might be. That's
much?
focusing
It's
a
not
lot
too
in
much.
one direction. Like, I mean, I don't think it's too much because, like, if you look at like the buffs that the last buff campaign, everyone got it like at least 3 effects except for a couple servants. And yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with it. It's not like she's that amazing in general. Like, I just feel like her crit damage isn't really that great either. Like, the numbers look big, but she's a caster. Her attack stat isn't that great. And she's an arts servant, so she's gonna start with an arts NP.
Well, part of that problem is it's a one-turn thing,
Yeah.
and she has no star absorb. Like, honestly, her kit, like it only being 10 stars and then having no star absorb,
Yeah.
and then her crit being a one-turn thing, like that's kind of like I don't like. I'm not a fan of, because they do these like 100% crit up for one-turn thing. Like Mixa has it as well, and I hate those type of buffs because I'm like, a one-turn crit buff for that high damage is like you're just holding that till the end, and then it in the end doesn't really do anything.
Yeah. Most of the time, I prefer to use her second skill for the Pierce Emblem, because that is kind of rare with single target casters. I think she's the only single target caster with Pierce Emblem.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
there's not a lot of
there's
single target casters. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there
mean,
is a sure hit or two though. Shuten has oh yeah, speaking of Shuten, that is she has sure hit on her NP, which is really nice.
Whenever
it does come
Medea removes buffs after a hit. Not like anyone's using Medea for damage
I mean,
anyway.
It's not like her NP's gonna do damage anyways, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, unfortunate.
You know what? I could
mean,
add that to the list, but I
like the idea, because one of the buffs that I really enjoyed, but I just can't like bring myself to use because it's a 1-star server, is Jason. Jason's MP dumps so much stars per turn, and it's 3 turns, so you get more the more you loop it, that it becomes kind of ridiculous. And I think it's fine to go like that much. I think it's fine to give, like, if you don't want to give her a star absorb up, you can just give her 20 stars per turn for 3 turns whenever she MPs. And then the second turn she gets 40 per turn. And suddenly she doesn't need star absorb up because that's so much stars. Right? I think the numbers are fine for Shiva, as Queen of Shiva, especially because like it's like, you know, like she's still held back. It doesn't like make her broken, in my opinion, right? So
yeah, I don't think you could give her a lot of stuff to her MP and she wouldn't be, because like the single target cast, like, well, DPS casters in general are
not
bad.
that good.
Like for our DPS casters,
Liz,
not good.
Yeah, the problem with casters is they've always wanted it to be the support class, and like all of the DPS casters are supportish, except for like Okuni. Okuni is really good, and she's pretty selfish.
I really
the
like
past couple, like Wu has her place. I still think that Wu not having a huge MP charge, but needing to NP to apply that undead trait does kind of limit her usage compared to her assassin form, who is one of the best 4-star supports in the game, in my opinion. But her caster version is fine. Okuni, who is, I think, one of the most forgettable servants in the game.
Yeah, unfortunately. I
bro,
personally like
bro, I have Bakken grailed. Okay, so you know who that is.
I like Bakken though.
Yeah.
It's like Bakken, I thought about grailing Bakken. I don't have any grailed riders, but I thought about grailing Bakken. And then I just didn't. I got distracted and didn't end up doing it. But you know.
Yeah.
Tying all the meta supports to one class is a bad idea. Yeah, that's why Oberon is a pretender, Vitch is an assassin, Skadi, the second Skadi became a ruler. Yeah, I'm glad they've been spreading it out. It makes it the more viable. It means that rider fights. Easier. Yeah, it makes rider fights easier too.
Yeah, it's like you can do Koyan Light, and like exactly. Like I think, you know, the support list clutter was definitely a bigger problem like back in the day compared to what
I think that's the only reason they're doing it. I think the fact that they realized that like they can't stick every support in the caster slot. Not like the caster slot's any help now, because it's unless you're paying attention, it's a mystery game of, did I accidentally pick Tonalico or did I pick Castoria?
You should put her Bonsi up.
I should put Castoria's Bonsi on my Tonalico and just see how many people unfriend me.
It's so funny. I saw this.
Dude. Yeah. Just gonna point out right quick, we have over 140 people here, which is like 100 more than usual. So, thank you, Rio. I guess.
Do I drop people? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like, you average like 60-ish people, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because no one's doing anything in FGO right now. I guess that's why.
Which is surprising.
Fino's about to go live in about 30 minutes, and then the viewers will drop. Like every time I'm streaming, and he starts, I notice the drop, and I'm like, oh, Fino's streaming.
Actually, oh, does he stream on Sundays? I don't know what days he streams.
He does.
Why are nobody doing the Olga thing? Nobody's doing the Olga thing.
That's a good question. I should do that after this. I'm just gonna stream that after this.
Yeah, you should. You should. It's fun. I mean, I have to go do something else, but
yeah,
like my keyboard is broke.
That's It's nice. Anyways, so shooting, so Sheba, then shooting again. So
Caster
yeah,
Shuten.
yeah. Caster needs it more than Assassin, in my opinion. Even though she's a welfare, so some things are expected to be a little weaker on her. Some people might advocate for a first skill buff, but honestly, I feel like this is one of her stronger skills. Like the 50% down instead of like 20% down. It means assassins are actually going to be prevented from critting because they have a base 30%. This is an okay skill. When it comes up, it's really solid. I hate this skill. Like, 30% arts and buster for 1 turn and crit absorb for 1 turn. Like, it's so... Like, it's an okay skill at, like, 4 turn cooldown, but it's 6 turns.
Ew, that is kind of gross.
Yeah. So, what I wanted this to be, like... it's kind of a simple buff, but I wanted these to be 3 turn effects and put a 30% battery on her. And I think that just completely solves her problems.
That definitely feels like a Lasengo buff. I think
Yeah.
that's like realistic.
I'd be fine with it though, because like, actually I'd be kind of pissed off because Queen of Sheba only got a 30% battery on her first skill. I'm sorry, she got a 2.2% increase in attack as well, but it'd still be really nice. Like, one of the reason why they buffed Sheba was because she and Shuten were the only single target casters without charge. And because of that, like, even if charge is an annoying buff, like, it's a stale buff. Like, the others always had the edge of being able to immediately NP, and they did not.
Yeah.
But now Shuten is alone.
So for Shooting, I do think a battery would definitely help, because I don't think they would need to personally like change the skill duration or the buff duration to if they had a battery, because I think if you were in, say, like we're talking like a 90++ situation, and the third wave is and the big target is demonic, that would give her like a position in there to like be the single target, because like with 90++, you either hyper focus the single target and the AoE is weaker and provides the support, or you hyper focus the AoE and the single target is there just to clean up. She would probably be in like cleanup section, like to take care of the remaining damage. But with the 50% anti-demonic, that's a strong buff number. And so I think just giving her a battery so she isn't so she doesn't need to be the focus of the team would help her in those like multi-core situations where she's lending that demonic buff to someone else for that like final large wave. Yeah. And then allows her to also NP herself. So it's obviously I wouldn't be opposed to extending the buff timer on it, but I think just giving a battery and allowing her to work in those is better.
Yeah, part of the reason why I want that though is like she has this art stack and she has good NP gain. Like I use this skill, I get stars, I crit on my arts cards, I have my NP again, I'm lacking a buster buff. So like I don't like that I have to hold on to it for a bit, because like I made a video using her like a while back and almost nobody watched it comparatively, but like whatever. And she I think I went the entire fight and only used it once, and the fight was like 9 turns long, I think. So like, oh man, really got good use out of this. So like 5 turn cooldown is like more reasonable, but like if we're gonna put a 30% battery on it, like dude, I'd love to be able to double stack this skill.
They could lower the cooldown. Yeah. She also, I think adding, because one, make the star absorption also longer. I would also say maybe add like a star generation buff as well, because her MP is 13 hits. Like you might, with some star generation, well, you could generate some stars there.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
To actually use the next turn.
Yeah.
Because like she has like, because you're only going to generate stars off your NP, but if you're holding it for the next one, I mean, So I think that would be, if you were going to extend it, I would also think maybe add on a star generation so she can also,
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. It's just like, I mean, she's a Buster servant, and there's, like, basically every Buster support makes stars, so I feel like I mean, a little more stars isn't gonna hurt. It's just, we have so many stars. If we have the Absorb already, I don't really see a reason to do that.
Sometimes they do, but sometimes you have to use, like, both Vitch buffs on, like, turn 1, and then you're just wholly reliant. Like, sometimes you can spread them out, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you gotta dump them all at the same time.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Anyways, that's my third one. Man, we're already going so much faster than the first 3 on the last one. The first 3 took like an hour on the previous one.
We spent 50 minutes on Muramasa. Don't treat it like the first 3 took an hour.
Yeah.
Muramasa took 50 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we took some time to slow roast him. Alright, so another one, I know I'm the only person here that uses him. It's not because I have him grailed.
Well, let me think. So it's a dude?
Yes.
And you have him grailed?
No, I don't have him grailed. I only have one dude grailed, because I'm apparently a Coomer. I have 2. Salieri doesn't get to count, because
Is it Moriarty?
No.
Oh, I'm trying to think, because I'm like, you seem to like Raita, so I'm like, maybe it's Moriarty. Okay.
It's not a Raita servant. Plushie might be able to guess it.
Constantine?
No. No.
Ew. Gross.
Okay, so a meme. Phantom of the Opera definitely needs a buff. And I have... Yeah, he got...
the garbage can.
I mean, it's an
buff removal.
Yeah, it's an okay buff. It's just he needs more than that. He needs way more than that.
To me.
So, like, really, I use him for 2 different things, if that. I either use him for the buff removal / charm. Sometimes I don't even get the charm out of him, so, like, although it is pretty consistent, it's just if they have debuff immune, then whatever. And sometimes I'll use him for debuff resist, ignoring, because 50% down for 6 turns is definitely unique. That's something no one else does. But I want...
But that's with 500% overcharge.
No. Oh,
wait, they interluded it. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a pretty good number. He synergizes pretty well with Shuten as a result, because she has a charm that does that. Anyways, so this skill is dumb on him. Like, the only instance in which you would want to use... you would want the defense down, because he's already, like, really low HP, is, like, if you're esportsing him, but if you're gonna do buff removal esports, just bring, I guess, like, esports. You could also do esports Abby, which is the exact same thing, but a lot better. I mean, but that's implying you care about esports. Not everyone does. So this... Well, yeah, I know you do. You love... you love turn attack, dude. Like, I know you do. So remove this, because, like, he has low enough HP anyways, so he's gonna die instantly. You can increase the star regen. I would take it to 15. I don't think it would be crazy if it was 20. And I would say either 20 or 30% quick / arts resist down. Because he has a quick deck, and he has an arts NP. And if you do like 30%, that's going to justify using him as a support, because no one's going to DPS with him unless you're Vintox. Mad respect to that guy, because he's an absolute mad lad. Dude, like, beats everything with Phantom. I actually suggested that buff to him, though, and he said it was too much. So, like, I don't think it's too much. He's too little as is.
I don't think anything to buff in this would be too much.
I think at 30% quick arts resist down. Well, I think it would be better if it was, because, like, for arts resist down, I think we have a couple of people that can do that. It would be 3 turns, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I think we have enough arts. I think
but
doing it as quick would be
I mean quick and arts down.
Oh, quick and arts down.
Yeah, and I think that would be especially viable, because especially valuable, because, like, who do we have for quick? Like, who does 30% quick resist or quick in general?
Nah,
I think
nobody.
Scott. Van
No,
Gogh.
like
She
for
has
low
20.
star.
Yeah,
It's
but
20%, but it's
yeah, but
I'm
still, like
guessing
that's
for low star. It's like,
yeah, it's and that's another thing. Like for low stars, who has quick support? Fucking Alex. Fucking yeah.
yeah. Well,
He'd be
that's
stepping on his
actually-
toes, as a matter of fact.
I was about to say, I'm like, wouldn't that step on his toes? Because Alexander also has buff removal.
Well, the
on
thing
him,
is,
and that's
yeah. To be fair, Alex can DPS. Phantom cannot DPS.
I
Yeah, because this is kind of a better version of Alex's skill. Yeah, because this is actually a really solid charm because it charms anything. It's not dependent on humanoid or gender. It used to be gender/Canis. That's why there's a Canis trait, by the way. This one skill.
and
I
Canis is-
actually would then say, yeah, because like looking at Alexander, I would say buff the stars to 15 and make it a 30% arts and quick resist down. Because like if you look at Alexander, he's got 16% attack, 20% quick, and then
Yeah.
you know the remove buffs. So it's like, what's wrong with giving Phantom, who has no damage, at least some sort of
Yeah.
use?
Yeah, he has some pretty neat utility as is. It's just like giving him some more damage or some more support in general, like because it benefits him a little bit for people who haven't grailed. Because like if you don't grail him, don't bother with damaging. Yeah. So just a funny thing to note. His 8th enhancement on his first skill does nothing. It's going from 8 stars to 8 stars. And look at what it takes to level that. It takes 4 hearts and 36 bones. And you get nothing out of it.
You get nothing.
Dude.
Outstanding design.
Even Paracelsus gets like 1% arts out of that. Like, you get nothing here. Wait, is Vintox here? What? Hold on. Oh, someone said hi Vintox, and it's like, wow, crazy. Yeah, wait, I'm checking chat just because of that, because, like, if you're here, thank you for being here, and welcome, hello.
No, I don't see when I.
Yeah.
I think they were like, we said something that probably has something
Okay.
to do with a servant they're known for using.
Yeah,
and they're like,
that-
oh,
Oh, dude, that would have been such crazy timing. Anyways, I think we're kind of running low on time here. Another one, I think, it's not like I like this servant a lot. It's just he definitely needs it, and
kinda
I feel
tsundere
like
sound in there.
it's not like I like him. But he definitely needs it. Everyone agrees on that. But I feel like it opens up some more interesting discussion here, which is Saber Gilles. Saber Gilles definitely needs it. I feel like these days he isn't quite as bad because, like, Mighty Chains definitely helped him out a lot. Like, when I use him, he feels a little more fair to use, but he is like the one I use is grailed. If someone in chat forces me to use him sometimes. Some people talk about his first skill, and I understand why, because it does nothing for him. But I don't want a first skill buff for him. I want his NP to get buffed. Because his NP does not do enough. Like, when I use him, I don't feel the problem of not having a first skill as much as I feel the problem of his NP only being up for 2 turns. And, like,
not worth the demerit either.
yeah, the demerit isn't too bad, because you can just load up a bunch of command
Just
codes
don't
on
get
him.
hit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah, it can be cleansed from a
yeah,
like a.
yeah, it's not
So
one
if
of
you
the
just had
stupid
a,
ones that. Yeah.
CC command code.
If you were like soloing with them, couldn't you just put up a cleanse command code next
Yeah.
in the chain?
True.
Yep.
So do
Yeah.
NP quick with a cleanse and then Buster with a crit damage up, and you're doing
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, and you
Yeah, that's
actually get
not-
you get some decent damage because he's basically got permanent 52% Buster. You got 100% of that, and there's a ton of servants that give you crit, so he gets some good damage out there. It's just like this is too subpar. I want this attack buff to be 3 turns. I'd love to get it like a 50% crit buff as well. and then boost the amount of stars. Because, like, the stars should not be 5 stars. Like, that's nothing for him. 20 would be fine.
I do think that you could start at 25 and go to 50.
Yeah, 25.
And
yeah, he has
I don't know
no
if he-
absorb.
With 100% attack up, I don't know if, like, because everyone has an MP5, 100% attack up and constantly having 40% buster up, because that's a permanent skill.
Here's the thing.
It's funny.
Yeah. Why is he not popping up?
Would crit really be necessary?
So the thing of
Inshin's a good comparison.
well, I think he is a good comparison because they have a similar stat line. They're both 3 stars. I think that's part of the thing here. 3 stars have shit attack stat, and that is why they usually have this type of thing. Because he has 50% attack and 100% crit per NP, and he can use his more often, and he's still not really worth it on damage. And he's also got like 30% defense. I thought it was 30. It's only 20. Oh yikes! And then he has a 50% card.
Oh, he has a 50% crit. Wait, how long is it for?
1 turn.
Oh,
Yeah.
1 turn.
Yeah.
See that? I think that's why he has that higher crit one. So maybe I would, if you were gonna give him crit, maybe 50%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not anything close to 100 for sure though.
Yeah. If you use 3 stars and under, like, ungrailed, you'll start to feel like how much more crit they need for things to do damage. Because, like, you see 100% on, like, a 5 star, it's a good amount of damage, but that's because they have a higher stat line. A lot of them have, like, double the stats. But you go down to lower rarities, like just to pull up Sheba again, she has a lot lower attack stat than most 5 stars, and because of it, even though she has good things that apply to her crits, she still doesn't do a lot of damage. And it's the same case here. He does do. Whoa!
Sorry, I dropped something.
I thought you were like angry at something I was saying.
No.
It's like I'm so angry at damage numbers.
It's such an unfair world.
I kind of off the topic here. Do you agree that they should change how attack scales with grails on low rarities? Because I think that 3 stars and below should have higher scaling for attack with grails than 4 and 5 stars.
I don't see a problem with a quote unquote build your own 5-star. Like I think this, like, FGO is a bit scared of the idea of build your own 5-star.
I do kind of like the idea. I don't think they need to increase it probably as much as you're thinking, because, like, you have to keep in mind, like for example, Inshin, like, you would think, like, okay, since the levels of buffs he has are higher to compensate for those low stats, okay, well, once you increase those stats, like, they get more out of the stat increase than 5 stars do. Because, like, with a 5-star, you grail it to 100, you only get, like, 2k more attack. But with him, like, you'll get, like, 4k.
Well,
and that
Inshin's final attack at 2k foe is 12.7k, which is it's like a level 95 star with 1k foe.
Yeah,
so I would say,
well,
like, they don't have to increase the scaling a lot, but I think, like, make it so, because, like, 5 stars are getting to, like, the 17,000 damage. Like, at least get them to with 2k foe to, like, the 14k range.
Oh that's I'm fine with that. So just the thing is, the reason why it scales better for low stars is because they start lower. So if you have, like, 10,000 attack normally and you add 2,000, you're only increasing it by 20%. But if you have 6,000, then you're increasing it by 33%. So it scales better, but you also have to, like, look at the cost investment. If you're grailing a 5-star to 100, you're using 5 grails. If you're grailing a 1 or 2 star, you're using double that. And that's I don't like that.
Yeah, that's why I think they should get more out. That's why I've never grailed anything below a 4-star, because as much as I may like them, I just feel like it's too much invested. I could do 2 characters instead of 1.
Yeah, and they're already
get better results.
Yeah, I've only grailed Well, actually, I made an alt to Grail Fergus, and I've got a completely maxed out Fergus, and holy shit, dude,
Like
he's
120.
yeah, he's on my alt.
That's
He
funny.
Yeah, he actually scales like really well with Grails though, because he already has a pretty high attack stat for a 3-star, and then he's got good mods. Anyways, we're not talking about Fergus right now. So yeah, NP buff, give him like crit, more stars, increase the duration on his buffs. Cause like, I don't think I mentioned this, but like 2-turn attack buff, 3-turn 50% defense debuff. Like, why does the
Not worth
demerit last longer than the buffs?
Because
Yeah.
they don't like them. But yeah, lasagna, ship this buff, please. I approve.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was, dude, and he didn't have his 3rd skill on launch. I guess everything was shittier back then, so whatever. It's just
Back
some
then?
weird
I-
I mean, some
Like
of
when-
them are still shit, but like the average power level these days is so much better. Cause like, remember day one Vlad? Day one Vlad, like he was so much worse because like,
He needed so many buffs. Castoria didn't exist. Like,
yeah,
He had
because like
AoE scaling.
yeah, that's kind of that was how it was with like every arts and P though, because
No, it was
Media-
just
Media
Vlad
and
and Media.
Paracelsus. Paracelsus had
Yeah,
it too.
Paracelsus.
He's still
Paracelsus
has it.
is AoE.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he,
but
his is
it's lower. It's Buster scaling.
yeah.
Oh, but they interluded it, so it's not. So
Yeah,
it's normal
yeah.
scaling now.
Yeah, so it's
I
normal. scaling.
completely forgot about that. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, because they fixed it kind of by doing that.
Yeah.
They were afraid of arts servants and looping. They were afraid of looping at one point.
Yeah, dude.
They,
And
they
then,
were afraid of,
Matt.
and then they made Castoria. They
no,
just
no,
gave
no, no,
up.
no. The where it went downhill was Skadi, because Skadi was the first looping enabler.
Well, definitely, but I don't know. I don't know why they were no, but like they're still scared of looping. That's the only reason they give quick servants only 30 battery. But they're scared of not arts looping. They're not scared of arts looping anymore for some reason.
Yeah.
Sure, man.
Yeah, and that's part of why people think Quick is extra shit now. It's because they were scared of Skadi looping, so they nerfed Quick.
Why are you
for a bit.
still scared of Skadi looping? We literally
Yeah.
have a bigger problem here.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
I wouldn't say problem, but
Yeah,
you know.
it's kind of ironic that that we mentioned Paracelsus though, because he is one I want to buff for. Because like for a while he was pretty decent because he has like the 50% NP gain for 3 turns and then the 20% arts, so he was like a budget looping enabler. But now we have
Yeah, I
Jufu,
mean,
and Jufu is
yeah,
just so much
Jufu.
better. She does like 100 things, he only does 2. So what I want, some people advocate for a first skill buff, or maybe a second skill buff, because this, fun fact, second skill, Boudica has the same skill, but 2-turn less cooldown. So, like, he has 80% battery here, so some people want something else on this just to make it more justifiable, but the way you buff a battery skill like this is by buffing the NP that it does, because he has a piss NP. 400%, hold on a second. This is still below the base scaling
Normal
for
scaling?
yeah, it's
Are you sure?
yeah, because art starts at 450%. Because Buster starts at 300%, and then 1.5 times that is 450. And then upgraded arts is 600%. So this is upgraded Buster percent.
Why did
Oh,
they do
it's
that?
in-
Right. Why is this so bad? Hold on. It should go to 750. He's literally also you have Google translating this.
Yeah,
page for
yeah,
some
I know.
reason.
Yeah, I did that the other day. It's funny.
Also, like you see, he's missing literally 150% damage on his NP at MP5.
Yeah. It's like the lowest
Holy
damaging
cow.
NP in the game. Actually, Phantom's might be lower, but Phantom at least has proper scaling.
Yeah, Phantom's lower. It's because of his 2-star. It's not because
Yeah.
Shouldn't we just
they
give up
get-
hope on his NP and just make him better support again at that point?
Well, here's the thing.
I mean,
here's the thing. We
that'd
can do
be
this.
like
We can do both of them at the same time. So what I'd like the idea of, you could put like, are there? I'd say like a 20 or 30% defense down before damage on this, and then fix the multiplier, because like they did the same thing with Vlad, like, and that way you could like use his NP before someone else's NP. It overcharges that NP, and then you get like 20%, and then like however much debuffing you get here. And then also amp up the attack scaling, because 10% is
He does
too small.
have instant access to his MP, right?
Yeah.
With the battery.
Yeah. It's
So yeah,
Yep.
I do think that is significant.
Yeah. I like the idea of arts resist down. I think that might be a little too good though, because that boosts your NP gain even further. And
Fine.
I think it's fine because like Jufu exists, and like
yeah,
I think
but,
having him, but I wouldn't want to resist down because the thing is like then it's a situation of like if it's like using him as like a middle support, like for like like certain farming things where you can't use double Castoria or something like that.
Yeah.
Then he's only good for one wave versus if you made it so that it was like a party buff that he granted. I think that I'd rather him grant a party buff than a debuff.
Yeah,
I'm
and
always
another
more
option
in favor of that.
Yeah, another option is like either attack or arts up for the team. I think that would make sense too. The reason why though, I know Jifu exists. Yeah, Jifu is just like amazing for this because she's got the 30% battery as well. But the thing about her is she has less NP gain. She has 30% NP gain. He had and 20% arts, and he has 50% NP gain, 20% arts. So if you increase their arts by like 20%, he's giving out more gain support than Castoria is technically. And maybe that's okay because he isn't really that great these days. It's just like there's not really much of a reason to use him right now. Also, like if you increase the scaling on this and like you give him like a decent damage buff, like he actually can clear a wave.
Yeah.
It's just he's got bad damage. So I like the idea of an NP buff because it means that he's got more to do with his NP, and then he's also he also like in case you like him a lot and have him grailed, then he's gonna scale better if you want to DPS with him, which I would.
They should fix that.
Yeah.
Because like I used to use them like back before Castoria, Melt, Lancer, Waver, and Paracelsus was a workable looping team.
Yeah.
Like without swap. That's how you looped before Castoria.
Yeah, and he synergizes nice with Melt because he has useless battery.
Yeah, so she just drained it. Yeah, that's what I used it for. I was like, I pressed the button, now she drains it. Congrats.
Yeah. Yeah, also, like, holy shit, dude. Like, they could do, like, self-cooldown reduction on his NP, too. Like...
8 turns, yeah.
Yeah, because 8 turn on first skill, 7 turn on the second skill, 8 turn on third skill.
Also,
so
buff the numbers on that arts buff. Dude,
yeah.
What are you doing with 20% only?
Yeah, for 7 turns, like, there should be, like, a 50% battery on it. But no,
it's a 3-star, but...
Nah, he's got an 80% battery on... But that's all on 8 turn cooldown. He just has so little effects, and that's the thing that annoys me.
I don't think him being a low rarity is a good argument because, like, if you look at like Bartholomew, like,
that's
he's
fair.
got like the party. He's got party charge, party crit damage, 50% for 3 turns, attack up, NP damage up.
He's
critical stars for the team. Like,
that's. Wait,
and he's like a 2-star. No, he's a 1-star.
Did I phrase it wrong? Because I meant like he doesn't have enough effects.
No,
no. It's because of me. It's because of me.
Yeah, Toshi said something like when I said they should buff, he's like, I don't know, is it 3? I'm like, no. I'm like the 1-stars have, but then again, 1-stars for some reason have so much like utility that it's almost unfair.
Well,
like,
that's because they're useless otherwise. Like,
Yeah.
there's none of them are worth using as DPS. The only one you can argue
mean,
that
What
with
about
is
Shin?
Kojiro.
Wait, no, Shingon's a 2-star. Never mind.
Yeah, Chengo's
Yeah.
a 2-star.
Yeah, like the only one you could DPS with is Kojiro, and you would never want to DPS with them without Grails.
Arash? No, it doesn't count.
Hold on. Piva, with Kuro, you can NP 3 times with Arash, so my 120 Arash will now finally be able to loop through my convoluted system.
Yes, with double Kuro and Oberon, and either Rhinus or Castoria.
Was it double Kuro? Or was it Kuro Bonsi? I don't remember.
I think it's double Kuro because he needs 2 guts.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... on another note, I saw someone do, like, this, double NP setup with, Da Vinci once. Like, because she has a targetable guts now. Da Vinci and Arash. Caster Da Vinci, I know. It's, that character is a character that exists.
Yep.
The Da Vinci Caster doesn't exist. It's a myth, I think. I don't believe in it.
Yeah. Everyone, it's kind of funny because she got a buff like earlier this year. It's just no one even noticed it. It was like hidden. Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, on JP
it made her
and
damage
on NA.
very good, actually.
Yeah.
It made her damage really good.
Yeah, the one on
but
NA
it's
was
because the one hit, so nobody gives a crap.
Yeah, which is funny because she could still cast Artoria loop because like she's got NP regen and a 50% battery.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow, her first skill isn't that bad. If I had a level 1 copy, I'd use that.
Yeah, she's got a really good skill set. It's just people write her off as not that good because she has
one hit
basically
MP.
basically no refund. But she's
the AoE DPS casters. The only 2 good ones are the ones I've 120'd, and that's Tonal Eco and Daikoked, and everything else is bad.
Who else?
My opinion is infallible.
True.
I don't know, man. Okay. If Murasaki had an NP upgrade, she would be fantastic. That's really her only problem, because she has, like, such amazing utility, and it combos with Castoria so well.
I actually do like Murasaki.
Yeah.
Question, Murasaki, which Ascension is the best one?
I like her second Ascension a lot. Second,
Okay.
I mean, like, the one with the glasses.
And for her summer form?
For a summer version, I don't want to look too much like a Coomer, so I keep her on the library girl one. The
cripple that scams you.
Yeah,
with
that's the one I like, and everyone says I'm a weirdo for liking that one.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I like the color palette of the first one because it looks like her caster version.
What she does is she fakes her like disability so she gets to park in the handicap.
Well, yeah, you gotta get in the Walmart faster. Come on. I don't want to walk across that parking lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, Murasaki Summer, second form is the best one. I'll fight anyone. People call me a crazy person, but I'm correct.
Yeah, I feel like that's that's a very popular Ascension. I feel like.
Yeah, a lot of the appeal for designs for me is color palette. And I like the color palette on her first Ascension because it's the same color palette as her first 2 Ascensions as a caster. But like I do like her second Ascension. It's funny. I just think her final Ascension is way too much. Like, yeah, especially now that my brother watches my videos, sometimes I have to keep her on an earlier Ascension.
Oh,
tone it down.
Why is that? Like, what is he? Too young for too racy? This is too racy for him.
I mean, I don't want him. I think he already thinks I am a Coomer because I spend money on this game, but like, I don't want to look too much like a Coomer.
Oh, too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, too late.
Yeah.
If you've seen his brothers reacting to his streams.
Don't worry, my brother also my older brother plays Fate Granddaughter, and my younger brother relentlessly mocks me for playing Fate Granddaughter. But my younger brother he enjoys Super Smash Brothers, and so his opinion's invalid.
So he doesn't shower. Yeah, there you go. Take the L. You
damn.
don't shower.
Dude, my brother plays Azure Lane.
Oh, never. That is the Ultra Coomer game. What do you mean?
The funny thing is, though, the reason he got into it is because he played World of Warships when they collabed.
No, he's lying to you. He just wants to have sex with boats.
No, I'm not joking. He went to a boat museum with some friends, like last year. He has books about boats. He could recite all sorts of boat facts. I think we went to there's like this naval museum up in Ohio. I think we went there a couple years ago. Like, he took me there. I believe it. I think he actually is in it for the ships.
Damn.
He's he likes that type of a thing. So
very interesting.
Yeah. He's a guy. So here's the next one. So Summer Tomoe, who I don't think is as bad as people act. I think she's a really solid crit servant. I think she's a better crit servant than Muramasa.
Dang.
Yeah, but we spent 50 minutes dunking on Art's crits
Yeah,
earlier.
but I don't have as much bad stuff to say about her other than her NP is doo-doo. I do.
It's ugly.
Okay.
My problem with it is I think it's ugly. I don't like how it looks, and that's my biggest complaint. Is I think the first person perspective is really ugly.
Yeah. Is part of it the CGI hands?
Yeah, and it just looks awkward. Like it's like it reminds me of like those old like like these movies from the 90s where they're like doing like video games and they're like radical. It's like the first person shooter perspective thing. It reminds me of that, and it makes me feel pain inside, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you look at who designed the game and all, yeah. But yeah, for this, I feel like this isn't too hard to fix. Like, honestly, just increase the multiplier. I think that's gonna help her out a lot. Making this 3 turns, like, not so much just for the arts buff, but I want it for the buster buff too, because it's just so awkward to put a buster card into an NP chain. Because like you might do like NP buster art, but like I'd prefer like NP quick art because I could at least make stars for next turn. It's just awkward on an arts NP. It does help looping a little bit, yeah, like you could have 60% arts on turn 3. Another option is you could go with this, like a boring buff would be battery on her second skill, and that would also help her looping, but
I think you could just change it to 3 turns for that first skill instead of a battery. I just think it not being 1 turn, like I think the problem is it's 1 turn.
Yeah, I'd say I could see them doing 3 turns and then put a battery on it. Same thing with my recommended shooting buff, I guess.
Raiko got exactly what it was, like that. This Annie, so it's like it's like a standard thing they like to do, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this anniversary they were a little more creative with their buffs. Like they had a bunch of, not all of them had batteries like they were last year. Because I think last year, like one of the only buffs that wasn't a battery was Mary Reed's, which was just a star bomb. But
so, yeah.
They forgot the battery, of course. They just accidentally forgot to code that.
Oh man, I was gonna add the 30 battery.
Messed up.
Oops, I meant to do 25% battery instead of 25 stars.
25% battery. The only thing worse than a 20% battery, because you think it's more, but it feels worse.
Hey, to be fair, you probably don't have her second pin. She's unlimited. So
yeah, I mean,
so you're probably going to be running some sort of 30% in the team anyways. Okay, so on top of making this 3 turns, I'd love like some sort of maybe a defense debuff or an attack buff. And they could do something fancy like give her special attack against burnt enemies. Just like 20% of that for 3 turns.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it wouldn't do anything in farming, but like it would make her better at critting. Because that is a large focus for her. She's a servant I like
So
using.
like Honey Lake built into her kit, like
Yeah, something like that. It would be especially nice because that would mean that during a fight her damage doesn't really fall out much. Because like you'll lose this skill eventually, and it's only going to be up 3 turns out of 6. But if you have 20 to 40% card for most of her deck, and then like 20 to 40% special attack, because this is a 5-turn debuff here. Yeah, they could also try to do that thing they do with some dot servants where they make it so you burn on hit. Like they did that. They kind of did that with Kiyohime, except I kind of like how they did it with Lancer Kiyo.
It's interesting. I definitely think that buff has more potential than a lot of people give it credit for.
Yeah.
I personally like it a lot. I just feel like you need more stuff to pair with her, and also she has to not die, which is like a lot to ask for,
Yeah.
especially with a character with stalking as like her main damage steroid. It's just a very awkward.
On the other hand, it does help you cycle a little bit better.
Yeah, but like, do you really want to cycle her? I guess after the
I did make a video on it.
Yeah, look, I agree. I just think it's too hard to control. It's like
Yeah.
you don't want her to die, but you also want her to die later. So it's like, anyways, yeah.
Calling the police on us. We can't have such a fire podcast. I'm gonna arrest you for arson.
Damn.
Also,
yeah, I love how I don't know why my bottom roll keyboard is just suddenly just dead. I can't type anything from the bottom row of my keys.
Dang.
I hate
skill issue.
Dude, I hate this.
Type harder.
I can't afford to replace it either.
So I got
Just steal a keyboard.
So I'm gonna toss it over to Plushie right after this last one because I think I have like such an awesome idea for this one. So Anastasia, I know she literally just got a buff, and a lot of people hated the buff. I think her 3rd skill buff is actually still pretty solid. What I'd like, of course, is an NP buff, and I want them to add a new effect to it, something that doesn't exist in the game yet. Like some sort of frozen effect, and or maybe a chilled effect. So basically, instead of it like stunning or something, it reduces their action count by 1.
So it's like a slowdown. So it's like a slowdown effect, but you know it's a turn based, so it becomes like action.
Yeah. Also, it helps make up for the potential extra actions of that are caused by skill seal. So, like, they might have attacked one less time, but okay, now they're actually definitely attacking 1 less time. They might not... I could see them making it so it doesn't quite work on 1-action enemies, but then again, 1-action enemies, they're dumb.
Well, just can't reduce it past 1. Just make it so it can't reduce.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing. I hadn't ever thought of that or heard anyone say something like that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to mention this one before I was done.
That's a very cool one. I have to agree.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to, because Anastasia was just buffed, you could throw that on her archer for him.
Ooh, chilled.
Yeah.
Because that is dumping them into ice, an ice.
Yeah, that makes sense too. I mean,
just to avoid buffing someone so close.
Yeah. Anyways, we left so little time for Plushie. I guess technically we went over 2 of them. What's your 1st/3rd/2nd one?
I mean, I don't have anything too interesting. I like, for example, like the one of them I really wanted was like Space Ishtar. I think Space Ishtar without her card change gimmick is just horrible, and I want her to get something more off of it. So I want her skill 3 to be to first of all remove the RNG because that's just stupid.
Yeah.
And secondly, I want her to get effects depending on what MP type she has. So I want her like you can go either way in terms of how you arrange these, because you can either go like, like Buster is supposed to give you like damage, so you get the damage, or on the flip side you can do like what they lack. So for example, maybe Arts MP generates 20 stars. The Buster MP recharges party MP by 20 after she MPs, and the Quick MP gives her like 30 to 50% MP gain up before the MP because her quick refund is really bad. So like something like this, I feel like would make her. I just want like her skills to play more into the card type change. I think that's her entire gimmick, and like they should play heavier into it. So that's kind of what I want happen.
Yeah, she's super duper
fix
boring.
The quick version.
Yeah, the quick version is pointless.
I think the quick version is very hard to justify. Like, I don't understand. Like it, unless like either you fix its refund by making it like for example, what I wrote down is actually 50% MP gain up, and that probably still wouldn't be enough. Just to boost her refund, but like I can't really think of another way to make it feel worth using.
Doesn't with like double Skadi only refund like 10 or 15%?
It's really bad. I don't know if it's that low, but it's really bad. It is indeed like very horrible. It is absolutely like unusable. That like when she first came out, people were like, "Oh, it's like a 50% battery AOE quick, right?" Oh, Dante's, shaking his boots. No, not really. Like not at all. Like her refund is just absolutely horrendous.
Those were back in the days before when we had to use Super Scope on a lot of things still. So.
And she still couldn't do it with Super Skill.
People told me like, oh, she's a quick looper before Castoria. And like, so I was playing JP and Castoria was out, and people were like, oh, we use, Space Airshot for quick looping. And then they showed it to me, and it was like, it's double Skadi, K-scope, swap waiver. I'm like, that's not quick looping. That's sadness and suffering.
Yeah, that's a Stolpo looping. That's what that is.
The funniest thing is that what you do, assuming you do enough damage, you actually get more refund. Like what people actually used to do is they keep her at arts on the first turn, because she gets more refund in arts form that with no external buffs than she gets refund on with double Skadi's buffs on quick. It's like actually tragic. Which is it's really dumb. Yeah, exactly. Somebody mentioned that. So like
I remember someone did a setup with like Tamamo and Skadi, so they switched to quick for the last one.
Oh, disgusting.
Yeah,
like it's really sad. So her quick, I can't really find a good way to make her quick justify. Maybe you can give the like I had like 20% party MP regen on her Buster. Maybe you could change it to, we can maybe switch it to the quick one if you really want to push the quick looping aspect, and then give Buster the what did I have for quick? Give Buster the I think MP gain up wouldn't make sense at that point. Maybe give Buster like an attack up, a party attack up or something. I don't know.
I feel like it would make more sense to put whatever it is on her second skill instead of her third. Because you could put the success on the skill still.
The only I guess you can add the buff success rate up on second skill.
It also might make a bit more sense because you're picking which card type on this skill, so they could just tie it to whichever swap it is.
I guess. Yeah, I just tied it to the third skill because I wanted to fix the RNG, but I guess that would also be fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what you would do without overlapping, because quick definitely would need NP gain up, but then arts would need like crit damage, or like crit, I would say crit or like star dump.
Yeah, star
but
dump.
What would you give Buster? That's not one of the other two. Like it could, you like if you give it crit, then it's just the better option for everything for face cards, and if you give it a star dump, it's overlapping with arts. So for Buster, you'd have to like think of some like other thing, like maybe just
it could also have something that doesn't make sense at all.
Like I think MP generation would be fine because it's the dummy one. Like it does almost nothing, but Buster doesn't need it because if you're running Buster, you're doing double Vitch and you're fine. So I think giving that the dummy one that does, or sorry, the MP regen, like just throw it on there. Give it the bad one. It doesn't matter.
I also had an idea, which is like it wouldn't make a lot of sense in like the flavor standpoint, but maybe she gets, this is gonna sound a little bit ridiculous. maybe she gets a different anti-trait depending on what card type she's in.
That'd be interesting.
Maybe she get, like I didn't write down anti what depending on what her MP type is, but maybe she gets like anti-lawful on arts, anti-chaotic on Buster, anti-neutral, which anti-neutral is rare as well, anti-neutral on quick or something like that, right? So then she'd be a like, because people always like to sell Space Ishtar as this sort of flexible option, right? Like, oh, you can choose what you want to do. That's why she's more valuable, even if her performances in each individual category is not the best. Her value lies in the fact that you can switch whenever you want to, and I feel like that isn't enough right now, because like people don't choose the other two modes.
Okay, so what you're saying, give her anti-earth?
I like the comment, quick sky, arts man, Buster earth, but make quick earth arts man and Buster sky. Once again, neuter Buster.
No, don't make Buster sky. That overlaps.
I mean,
but she already has Vitch. Don't give it earth. And they're gonna have Vitch, so they're already gonna have anti-man. So give them the worst one, Sky.
That's why I said chaotic, neutral, and lawful, because I toyed around with the Sky Earth thing. I think that actually made less sense, because there are more interactions with that. Because like for example, like Vitch, like Vitch has man, and like how many AoE arts is anti-earth? Like I don't want to count, right? Like it's just. I feel like maybe the other one that is less touched upon could be interesting.
Yeah.
Plus, she gets a DM at 3 a.m. He looks at it and it's just anti-earth, and he freaks out.
Yeah, dude. Stop. Just stop.
He's being
so
haunted.
It's so boring. It's like, yeah, it's good. But then why don't you just give her MP just give it like Gilgamesh then, anti like Wheat Enuma Elish, like who cares, right? Like, but it's even worse because it only applies to servants. So I don't know. It's just, you might as well give them something else. I don't like it. I also don't like having to remember a bunch of stupid traits like Brynhild's beloved and animal, right? Like this is really stupid when you come up with new traits. But at the same time, I think like it's oversaturated. Earth is.
I can't wait for something that's anti-obstacle maker, and gotta remember those 3 servants.
I mean, it's only 3, so.
No, I'm pretty sure they added more. I think one of the newer servants were obstacle.
Yeah, no, there's Knocknaria is obstacle maker.
Yeah,
so it's now
okay. So her, Constantine, Janako, and Vritra.
No, Constantine's not on here.
Oh,
it's
he's a
Vritra,
defender.
Janako, Tiamat, and Knocknaria.
It's like divine.
Oh
spirits.
right, I got it mixed up with
Goddesses.
Defender.
Yeah, there's so
the
many.
other arbitrary one that does nothing.
Yeah, no one.
Well,
by the way, here has brought up to buff Constantine just because he's so garbage. You can't save that man.
I mean, it depends on.
I don't feel like he's that garbage. It's just he's got such a different
archetypes.
play style.
It's the same with like tank archetypes. Like tank archetypes are already not, like people don't like to use them, and he's not even like top tier tank, so it's kind of.
He just plays a lot different than what everyone else does. So I think he just weirds a lot of people out because of that.
And he just doesn't have synergy with Romans. Because if his Buster up was party wide, there's an argument for him. But it's not. It's selfish. But the rest of his thing screams that he's there to help Romans.
He's not a Roman support. The funny thing is, the bigger. Oh no, it's not a Roman support. I don't know. It's weird.
Honestly, I kind of feel like he's a better version of Jeanne. Because he's able to actually do something with the offensive aspect.
Fair. Because he can still make the team take 0, right?
Yeah.
Or is it just himself?
If it depends. If it's an MP and the enemy buffs themselves, the 100% defense isn't going to do anything. Well, maybe if they're Romans, but
doesn't it still have an invul, or is it just him? Invul's on.
No, the invul is only on him.
Oh,
and if his, and I know I was complaining about QSH earlier, but if his taunt was on his His influence also only one attack. If his taunt was on himself, on MP instead of his first skill, which is on a 6-turn cooldown, then maybe something. Also, is like he has like an on death effect, but like he's tanky enough that it's hard to kill him.
I feel like the on death effect is just kind of a bonus thing there. Like in case you want to, instead of using the taunt to get your MP, you want to use the taunt to cycle them out. That way it's not wasted. Because then you're getting like those are some good effects on there.
Like I do believe like using the Chen Gong to kill him in that's like pure meme.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like in my
because it refunds 30% to Chen Gong.
Yeah,
it's 50% because you can give him fallen whatever.
Oh, but it's the last ally, so you can't have your DPS in the middle or up front. It's got to be the person in the third slot, which can be a psychopath to put your DPS in the third slot. You put your DPS in the middle slot. You're a weirdo.
Well, yeah, it is a weird thing to do, but sometimes you gotta do it.
Well, that means you don't want to use him with Miss Crane.
Yeah, I mean,
because she busts the frontmost, he busts the backmost.
I don't know why they care about this positioning thing.
Well, it's to like control, so like where to like the buffs are gonna hit, because they want to hit one servant.
True.
So there has to be a position assigned to it. It's like Shengon always kills the person in front because you want it to be consistent. You don't want Shengon just randomly killing servants.
Yeah,
as funny as that would be really bad for planning and challenge quests.
All right. Proposed Shengon buff. All right, so they give him the upgraded MP multiplier, like with the rash, but now he kills two of the front line instead of just one.
He kills both front lines. Oh no. Yeah, that kills him for anything more than 3 turns because you just run out of
buffers, out of ammo.
Guts becomes meta.
Oh gosh, I'm finally my Tonalico.
Yeah, good synergy with Gong, amazing.
Dude.
I mean, I feel like a lot of buffs I already like rambled about all the time. Like for example, like the Summer Kama one, I couldn't shut up about it. But I guess I'll mention it here again. I want the Summer Kama MP buff where she gets 2 stacks of burning love on the enemy before damage.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Yeah. Right?
Like on the MP?
Yeah, on the MP.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing, right? Because they clearly can't give her charm on MP. Because that's like look at how much they held back Kashin Koji. Because they don't want it to be 100%. They're scared of spammable AOE, stun, charm, whatever, like enemy control status, right? So I think they have a perfectly good tool that they implemented into this character, right? Which is called Burning Love, which it's only applicable by face cards on her third skill, but luckily it does affect her MP. So that is a way to micro adjust how much they want to buff her MP damage, like in my opinion. Right, so you can even make it scale with overcharge. I guess that would be a bit much, but like if it does scale with overcharge, maybe it can start with like a lower stack. Maybe it can start with 1 stack. But honestly, I'd prefer just like 2 stacks across the board because I think she needs, like, her damage problem is like very much stemmed from her first 2 waves in terms of looping, or like even in challenge quests, it stems from her first turn, right? Because she doesn't get to stack the defense down yet. So I think. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I just think it's a mechanic that can be utilized more. Like it's an interesting status, but like they don't do enough with it. Maybe I don't know if maybe they did do enough with it, but I just feel like it's such a good tool to micro adjust how much extra power mod you want on a character, right? Because it's 10% per stack. I'm pretty sure. Am I wrong? It's like 10%.
Yeah, 10%.
Yeah, so like you can very much like micromanage how much damage you want her to do. Like if I doubt they do any play testing, but like let's say pretend they do play testing, right? Maybe 2 stack is too much. Maybe they reduce it to 1 stack. Maybe 2 stack is not enough, and they increase it to 3 stacks, right? I think it's a very easy to use tool.
So because that would be in an NP interlude. I do wonder about these like high-end arts loopers. So like, Space Ishtar, Kama, Ibuki, and Melusine, if any one of them gets an MP interlude ever, then they take the top spot.
But here's the thing, right? I like if right now there was a power balance, I'd agree with that worry. There's no power balance. It's just Ibuki.
Right, but the Ibuki is about 20%, give or take, better than the others.
Yeah.
But that's with the 1.5, like, versus neutral.
Yeah.
And so
when are you neutral with Ibuki?
Well, never. But I'm
there you go.
But like, if any one of them would mean Ibuki becomes just pointless, almost though. It's bad balancing because they made Ibuki just better enough than everyone else.
She has
But
better
if they
refund
buff
as
any
well.
of the other ones,
Better face, better crits. She has like.
She has a better face.
No, not according to her third ascension card art. Holy cow, nightmare mode.
Like, I understand the worry, but I don't care.
You just want to see her die.
Quite frankly, I don't care. Like, it's fine. Like, just like I love it when people, future proof for a servant on NA for 2 years, and then just something just drops on their head and completely shatters their plan. Yeah, that's hilarious.
That one guy that every year the next one comes out and they're like, okay, I'm saving up for that. I'm saving up for Summer Musashi's next banner.
Yeah.
I'm saving up for Kiara. I'm saving up for Kama.
I understand the rationale behind doing that, but like, how long are you gonna wait? Look, I'm calling it. When Samurai Remnant drops, they're gonna buff Summer Musashi, and potentially she could be better than Ibuki, right? Like, depending on what the buff is.
They're gonna give her like a 50% battery, and they're gonna give her some kind of like
she's gonna have anti-saber. She's gonna have anti-saber or something, right? Because her MP's already like saber drain, right? Like.
But I hate the save for the next one. That's why I think just plain JP is better, because if you like a character, you invest in them and you deal with them, instead of looking 2 years in the future where you're like always afraid. I'm like, ooh, if I invest in this one, and then I'm technically 5% less, but it's like, what is it, like 5% less than the optimal version, so I'm gonna suffer through bad farming for 2 years to save for this next thing that is going to be 5% better than what I could have been using for the past 2 years and made my life easier.
And like people joking about like, oh, Summer Kama suffers from clairvoyance, right? Like I that's actually like, if I ever, because I was gonna make the hot take today, but obviously the Yu Olgamari thing dropped and I just completely dropped everything else. But if I were to ever like actually make that review, which I think I probably still, because I'm already halfway there, I'm gonna title the video just exactly because I saw this somewhere. Like Summer Kama, a victim of clairvoyance, right? Because she's like exactly 1 year before Ibuki, and like everybody now knows that Ibuki exists. Nobody's gonna pull for this character, right? So like, I mean, that's not the case, but you know what I mean. So like,
it did hurt it. There are people out there who I'm sure were gonna pull for Kama, after they saw her in JP and saw Ibuki, and their neurons were like, it blinked for a second. They're like, ooh, this is the right choice to not roll for Kama now. Neurons, and it's just like, I think I think it's so stupid. I'm like, if you like, because there's not a big enough difference, honestly, to where if like, unless you like objectively like them the same.
I know what you mean.
Wait for someone like, I like Kama so much more as a character that you like, it doesn't matter how much better Space Ishtar is in some situations or Ibuki is in some situations. I'm gonna pick Kama, but then I like Melusine way more than everyone else. So it doesn't matter if Melusine is technically not as high in the damage, even though I think she's better than them. Maybe, right? Than those other two.
She's not better if you're not up against Earth and you're on turn 3 and they're all 120 in NP3 and you're not using Black Grail.
Grail. Yeah, that's true. That's
at least she has like one. Yeah, Space Ishtar is definitely the best one.
Oh, dude.
But it's just like use who you want to use. That's what I was saying. I have a 120 Nito altar. That's probably the worst AoE Arts Avenger you could grail. But
I
it's
mean,
like,
yeah.
Hey,
Look at
Salieri.
media. At media,
no, I mean like the
ranked her-
5-star ones.
Oh,
Like,
at
okay.
media
5-star.
ranked her higher than the other two because she has a bigger battery.
Well, at media is a little stupid sometimes. I
Yeah.
mean, they rated Kuro like really high for farming. I disagree with that.
Well, anyway, yeah, like I think yeah, obviously this will break the power balance and fine. Like maybe like I don't know. Like maybe or put it on a skill. Like I don't know, but I don't know how you would put on a skill, but affect her because what I wanted to do is affect her MP damage every single turn, and I don't think they have ever done an MP upgrade that just added an effect but not increased the base damage. I don't think they've ever done that. Maybe they could
do that for support in Beast.
Well, yeah, maybe they could do that for first time forever, like for Summer Kama because I like adding the burning love would already be a base damage increase, like in most cases.
It felt like
right?
that with Paracelsus.
Yeah. Like I think it's fine. Honestly I think it's fine. The MP upgrade arms race. Yeah, Mordred slightly out damages Artoria now. Like people are not gonna switch just because of that, right? Like I don't know. I just feel like they need something to even the playing field, and these arts loopers like definitely I think the Spaces chart one was more interesting. Like maybe make it like special anti-trade or something. But I don't know. I just like the burning love thing a lot on Kama, and I feel like it can be used better than what it is right now.
I think they should, yeah, like buff an NP without changing the damage scaling.
Yeah, they could definitely do that.
Because they could add that, or they could just add another effect to it. Like even if it's not the burning love, add something to it too.
Yeah. Like
Or as NA calls it, heartfelt blaze. Apparently,
bruh. I think like definitely like they balance modern servants compared to older servants in a way where modern servants without an upgraded MP MP scaling would like be on par or still better than older servants with an upgraded MP scaling, right? So I feel like they do this a lot. I'll try to speed this up. I'm sorry. But
That's
like,
fine. We still got 20 minutes.
I just feel like, maybe they should start doing non-scaling change MP upgrades because like there's still a lot of stuff to gain from MP upgrade because you gain it every time you use an MP instead of having to wait for the skill cooldown. So it's a very significant change, but it doesn't have to come with a base increase if you really don't want that, right? I don't think that should be a thing anyway.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for that buff to Arthur that makes him better than Mordred and Artoria.
never gonna happen.
I think it could happen.
Tokyo Grill War.
Like he's got good skills. It's just his NP sucks.
I mean, I mentioned most of the things I want here with the Tamamo, Koyanskaya. Okay, there's one like Miss Crane change. It's definitely less of a. It's like a quality of life update. I want her to add a clock on the target that she buffs that gives them 20 MP at the end of the turn, because I hate how her MP charge on her MP works, where you're choosing between boosting your character's damage or charging their MP instead of getting both, which is in my opinion it's stupid.
Nice clock,
I agree.
bro.
I think I've definitely had that thought before of like changing the MP charge to a delayed buff at the end of the turn.
I think it's like, so stupid.
I think everyone's had that thought. If you think 5 seconds about Miss Crane, I think like you're like, boy, you can have either the attack up on the turn or the MP gain. It's like, this kind of sucks, and this is why Kuro is easier to use than Miss Crane.
This is why people like Kuro. Like this is why when Miss Crane came out, literally nothing happened. Nobody gave a crap. And when Kuro came out, everybody's like, oh my god, it's a game changing. I do think it's an overstatement. But I also think like Kuro is actually hard to use because you have starting.
She has to be out on the field more than one turn.
She has to be out. Yeah. But so that's why I made it 20, right? If I made it 30, it would have been
Yeah, well, I mean, Miss Crane is the best worst unit to use. Like, she's super useful, but man, every time I have to use her, I hate it because one, I either forget the stars, or two, I get annoyed at my skill order that I have to do things in.
Yeah, I really don't like
Skill
the MP
issue.
order thing. I really hate the MP order.
And then you have to like, you usually just put a K-scope on her because you don't want your DPS taunted.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I have I
sometimes you
lured
can put
her
it
a
on.
pen 2. I lured her a pen 2 just for that. Not because I don't want to lure her battery. That wouldn't make sense. I lured her a pen 2 just because I can run like a star bomb and Castoria.
Yeah.
So I don't have
that's
to
why I
taunt.
did that too.
I mean
So,
that's mostly for min turns, I'd say, but
yeah. Well, I mean, she's nothing but a min turn. Like in practical use, if you're not trying to min turn a fight, I think she's downright useless. You're not using her for farming.
I don't. Okay. I've used her a bit outside of it. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people share that sentiment, like both in like the turn attack community or the budget users. I'm kind of in the middle there. I've used her in situations where I'm not trying to min turn things, and like if you are playing her right, like her cooldowns on her skills are really nice. So if you're gonna have her out there and just not use her NP, like she actually gets some good stuff done. Like
all I'm
Team
gonna
Invul.
say is
Yeah.
I think her taunt on the other two party members makes more sense if you like they designed it around not assuming you immediately like switching her out. Like the taunt on the two other team members is designed with keeping her on field in mind. And maybe you generate 20 stars manually, then you use her MP. Which I think it's kind of like maybe if that's the case, you shouldn't have given her 100 battery. Because like 100 battery just incentivizes pop her immediately. But
I feel like her having that 100 battery, yeah, and being somewhat able to generate her own stars with that costume owning, thing, makes it seem like she should go first. Also, the fact that her skills have HP demerits, when she's never gonna get hit, that just kind of shows that they don't expect her to get hit, so it doesn't matter. So might as well just throw an HP demerit on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's flavor.
She's a weird one. This is literally just for convenience sake. And then I guess I got one more. I don't want to like go on too long. I guess I also I don't know what to do with my board.
Okay.
I got one more, which is like Shakespeare. I think this is definitely too much. I think this is definitely too much, but okay. So skill 2 becomes targetable.
Okay.
Extends all Buster type buffs for the party by 1 turn. Buster up type buffs.
Yeah, then he can have that synergy with Oberon, so you get 2 turns out of his Buster buff.
Except
it's not going to delay the eternal sleeve.
Yeah, I know.
So, what I initially wanted was to attach it to his battery and make it by 3 turns. So his first skill would last 3 turns. But then I thought about like maybe it's too good with stuff like Merlin's mana burst. Like I don't know if having a 6-turn mana burst is too much. So then my second version of the script was extend the buff by 1 turn, right? But it's Buster up type buffs and invul type buffs. So his second skill will become a 2-turn invul that is targetable, but maybe that's still too good with Merlin's illusion. So that's why I settled with this kind of less good version. I don't know if this is too much, honestly. I think it's fine. Like, is this really too much? Is this really too much? Like 4 turns of mana burst instead of 3?
I don't think.
I mean, honestly,
extending the mana burst, but like it's not going to extend the crit buff from Merlin. So what's like? It's just another, it's just extending the Buster buff. I don't think that's really egregious.
Yeah, I thought of it this way, where I'm like, maybe if I'm running a low star budget comp for Buster, I can run a DPS with him and Bunyan, and then I have a very long lasting Buster up on my DPS, and it will help their performance a lot. Or like even if after they die, for like maybe min turns I want to run that last more than 3 turns. You know, there's a lot of like min turns TAs that are challenge quests where the minimal turn is 4 or above, and I like this kind of effects, but I feel like maybe extended by 2 turns is too egregious. But I don't know. Depends.
Yeah.
I guess.
Honestly, like, he just needs something to compete with Chen Gong, because Chen Gong is just so much better than him in so many ways. Like, whether you're DPSing or supporting with them, like, Chen Gong's
This
just so much
also
better.
allows you to, you know, synergize with Chen Gong, because that will
Yeah.
this will also extend
Yeah.
his third skill by to 2 turns. I don't know if 2 turns. I think 2 turns is an awkward number. I like you know, deep down I want it to be by 2 turns instead of 2 turns, or by 1 turn. I want it to be extended to, maybe I can change to extended to 3 turns so it doesn't affect mana burst effect and it just affects 1 turn buffs.
Dude,
So
dude,
you
it could synergize with Saber Gilles, and he could get 6 turns of his Buster buff instead of 5, so we can overlap it. Yeah.
So when you mentioned Oberon, I just thought of something stupid. What if, like, instead of extending duration, because you know how Oberon doubles NP damage, right?
Yeah, doubles Buster.
What if it doubled the effect of Buster buffs instead?
I think that's fine, but I also feel like you hit Buster buff cap easier. Maybe
yeah, but as a low rarity sport, he's got 40%. That would double it to 80. Like to hit the cap at of 250, you'd be you are 500. You'd have to be hitting 250% bust drop, and to hit that reasonably in one
that
turn
is
not reasonable. Like you got double Vich, Merlin is only 150%. You'd need the built-in support person to have 50% of their own, and then you'd come in with 40, and that's still only 240%, so you'd still not be hitting, but that's also already using swap. So yeah, no, it's impossible to hit that cap anyway.
Yeah, you're right. I think either works. I just hope it's a more interesting buff instead of just extended the buff itself to 3 turns, because that was obviously initially what a lot of people wanted, and maybe make the battery AoE or something instead.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, honestly, like, the problem with Shakespeare, it's not like that this buff is small or something, or that it doesn't last very long. It's just, he doesn't have a lot of things. Like, all he has is, like, a little battery. Sometimes the Stargen does something. It's only 1 turn, so it just depends on what NP it is. And then he has a smaller Buster buff than Chen Gong. So, honestly, like, if his niche became something along the lines of he has more than 20% charge, because, like, there's only one low rarity support that has 30% or more, and that is like, that can, yeah. So if this became targetable and you gave it like 20% charge, or maybe up to 30%, that would be kind of crazy.
Make him a 50% charge. Oh,
yeah.
I don't know if they do that on a 1-star. Like,
he's a 2-star.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like we have another low rarity servant that has I mean, we got a couple casters that got 50% ones. It's just like they've got 50% for themselves, if that. Like,
I mean, yeah, like I just feel like, you know, the game could have more of their new mechanics utilized. Like the reason why I made this was because I saw the summer Bavanchi where they were able to actually extend buff duration. So if that's already in the coding, why don't you use something, you know, why can't you utilize it on something else, right? And when I buff low stars, like, this might sound cruel, when I buff low stars, I tend to treat them as a skill. Like I tend to treat the entire servant as like a skill. Like it's just like that's what they are. Like they serve their purpose, they can die off afterwards, right? Like that to me, that's what most like low star supports are. It's like, other than not Edison, other than Anderson, who gets a lot of value for sticking on the field, like, you know, like Mozart, like even to some extent like Chen Gong if you taunt himself, or like Mary Anning or some like characters like that. I feel like they just like pop their skill, or like sometimes if you use Bunyan as a non DPS, right? You pop their skills, they leave, and then they serve their purpose. Good, right? They did what they're supposed to do, and if there's a character that's able to make that they'll make their buffs like linger longer, so their influence stick longer even after they're gone. That'd be interesting, but I don't know. That's just
Yeah.
That's just my idea.
Yeah. Yep. So that was the last one you got? Or do you-
Yeah, I mean the other ones are not interesting enough. Anyways, I think time is.
Yeah,
pretty-
we still got 5 minutes.
It's just boring stuff like like Archer Bavanshi with like anti curse. Like everybody has talked about it already.
I'd like that.
Yeah,
I think
like
they could buff her.
Yeah, I think her damage, like I really want her to do damage. And like back in the day, before this summer, I actually wanted her to shift towards a solo unit, because she actually has pretty decent like survivability, surprisingly. With her
They've already given you the
vampires and
solo
heal.
version.
But then they gave the summer one like a absolute, solo centric, or I mean stall centric tank. So I tend to not want to go that way anymore.
I do think Summer Balvan's super interesting on that one, just because it's a different gameplay style than we normally see. It reminds me of the old remember, I don't know if you ever saw people do it. I did it in the past, like using Nightingale and Kid Gill together in order to like neuter damage from the enemies.
Yeah,
because you could reduce their damage to 0.
Yeah,
with that combo. It's like that, but consistent.
Yeah. So I think it's worth. But I don't know. I think I swear I have another one written down here. I can't find it. It's something about Vitra, but it's probably nothing interesting because it's Vitra. So
I had Vitra on my list too, but I couldn't think of anything like productive other than interlude NP, make a gain suck less.
Like Vitra doesn't have any. I feel like she isn't lacking anything on her kit. It's just that her numbers are kind of low, and then her skill 3 is awkward. But like it's just there's no way of it's just micro adjustment instead of like a huge change.
Yeah.
I guess that's.
Yeah, like Fritzer's got like a really like she doesn't have much like super interesting stuff. Like I guess they could like put some sort of stars on her NP just to try and capitalize on her first skill, but like I mean the absorbs 1 turn. And also
I just think her anti-divine is so tiny, and it's a power mod, so it
should be 50.
It literally disappears if you equip her with Black Grail. Like, because they're the same buff type, they're additive. Like that anti-divine mod, when you use Black Grail with Vitra, it literally just fizzles out. It barely exists. It's like it. I guess it's the same with Melusine's anti-chaotic, but she has another one. She has anti-earth, so it's not like it's that big.
And she already has 30% MP damage in her kit as well.
Yeah, I guess that's like technically waters it down even. I don't know.
Yeah, they could. They could actually just go for a 3rd skill upgrade on Vitra. Like they could make the regen AOE. And then also
that's interesting.
Yeah, and then also make the NP damage last more than 1 time.
Yeah, AOE regen's definitely an interesting thing.
Yeah,
that
it would also
should explore more.
It would definitely help capitalize on the fact that her 2nd skill is AOE.
I do think one of the things that they are also scared of, other than cooldown reduction, is the slow charge thing, because of how much they make Pope Jones like 3rd skill 8 turn cooldown. Like they're very it is 20 per turn, but they're very like reserved on giving out these, if you feel. So,
which is weird because 10% regens aren't like the most uncommon thing. Like Sei has it. Daikoten has it.
Oh, Daikoten is party, right? Is it party? Wait, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sei and Daikoten are both party.
Yeah. Oh, Archers, of course. I keep remembering. I was like,
Archer
when the
Sei.
Berserkers have that? Yeah.
Like there's also I mean Tonalico has it. Edison has it. Abigail has it. That's it. Actually, there's not a lot, but like some of them are like. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Actually, the only one of these who's like actually a really good DPS proper is probably Tonalico. But you know, I can pretend Daikokuten's good.
Yeah, I mean, I also had an idea because I think Barguest's first skill is kind of doo doo, but
Oh, is that
if
the
it's
sunlight one?
yeah, but if it's under sunlight, it's actually pretty okay. It's only 5.
Give her the
cooldowns.
ability to trigger sunlight then.
That be, I guess that'd be.
Man, why
against her
even have
lore.
the sunlight niche then? I guess it's
Well,
the
no,
same thing with
make-
Gawain.
Hold on, make the sunlight from her NP. That way, it's not there for the first cycle, but going forward in the cycles with the cooldown reduction, it's there.
Oh.
Hmm.
I wanted
Or
her
you
to
just hold it to the second NP.
I want her to have something similar to Tez, where she eats the sun. I don't know why. It's not even in her lore, is it? But I just I want her to like consume the sun and then
Well, no,
do
she has
something.
Thundercloud Eater on her summer form.
Oh, summer form. Yeah, I want her to eat the sun with her first skill. Actually, like that would literally change how it worked. But I would like her to, like turn off Sunfield and then do something in return. Like she can, like, for example, she can go either way. She can go like either the Valiant Knight with the pretending to be Gawain with the sunlight field buff, but she can also eat the sun and then become like a dark, like a corrupted version. Like maybe she goes berserk, but I don't know, but she burns herself or something. I don't know. I like crazy stuff. I like, you know, like characters going nuts. But I like with the time I had, I didn't I didn't really write up something interesting enough to share here.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're like out of time for this podcast. So, Rio, thank you so much for being here. It was some fun discussion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So maybe sometime in the future, we can have you up here again because I feel like you got some good stuff to offer.
Yeah.
And I'm never doing anything productive, so
Yeah.
all I would have been doing
I
is
feel ya.
streaming today the same note for 3 hours, trying to
Yeah.
reset for card RNG.
Yeah. Well, if you boot up stream like immediately after this, I'll just raid it.
No, I'm gonna go get food. So
Okay. Oh, but there's like no one else playing. Okay. Anyways, thank you so much for being here, and that's gonna be it for this episode. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.